All right. Well, welcome to episode 43 of Casting Shadows. Commander Merc, and joined by me, our Cam and call sign. We'll get right to it, I guess.
My end goal is getting that artifact. And the fact that it was all these
Guys, we're live now.
which play this too, and that in basically whatever group this
the Reds, because I think they kept talking about it being like a pirate group because it's in the Pyro system. But it could just as easily be a bunch of people who work for a mining corporation, or they're affiliated with this or that other group, and you've got good or bad reputation with them, and that can drastically change how, hey, if I need an artifact for this other larger quest, or one idea I saw someone post out there was that because apparently these artifacts are supposed to be kind of a big deal in the universe, is that maybe there's some kind of ancient ruin that was found that needs these artifacts, and they form like some kind of a key or something like that. And okay, well, hey, I know the location of one of these. I need to get these artifacts before someone else strolls along with artifacts and opens it up. Oh, hey, I've tracked down the location, one or two systems over. Okay, leading to this, all to go and pursue your objective of opening up this ruin, or whatever the case might be.
All right. So I just came into the conversation midway because I was setting up the live stream. So what are you talking
Jeez,
about?
Mando. You're always fashionably late.
No, there's no fashion
I like
involved.
the fact that they were giving us, 3 options, but I agree that it was important they show that there are, multiple different ways to accomplish a task. And there,
3.
Yeah, with the CitizenCon gameplay footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we can, as we did with the review of CitizenCon, like we critiqued the gameplay to hell, but at the end of the day, that's not what the gameplay, or the person playing and how they played wasn't what mattered. What mattered was the gameplay itself and what they showed, and what they showed was really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, and I liked too that they had like, oh, hey, we put some boxes here, so if you so happened to bring along a multi-tool with a trophy beam attachment, move those around and get up to some places that you might not otherwise be able to reach. Oh, hey, if you brought your multi-tool with a cutting attachment, hey, you can go and access some places you might not otherwise be able to reach. I like that kind of stuff, that, hey, if you've got this or that tool, because it's like, for me, I fully plan, especially, way down the line, once we have a lot more adventure being able to be done, that I'll probably have in my backpack pretty much all the time a multi-tool and one of every available attachment. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's like going into space without your Gerber multi-tool. Like, it just
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're asking for trouble.
Exactly, and
Too,
it allows for, I hate saying this, but immersive gameplay. And like, the more well equipped you are at the start of a mission, the better off you're going to be. More routes open to you. Whereas if you go in kind of bare bones in a mission, right, like just a pistol and maybe a few spare magazines or batteries, depending on what type of gun and all that, then you're gonna have to do a lot of searching and scrounging to kind of make your way through that mission.
I'm really impressed, Cam. I'm really impressed. Yeah, the other thing I thought of recently was the fact that this mission seemed to really focus on ground play, whereas almost all our other sitcom demos, while they did have ground content, seemed to be more focused on like
ships in space
planet
and the spectacle
ships.
of it.
Yeah. This one was definitely much more, and I just wonder if that's completely intentional, or if that was like to show that, hey, we're starting to focus more and more into the ground play, or if it was unintentional, but that's just been the focus this year, is more and more on the ground capabilities. I guess that's the question I'm wondering.
Yeah, I do.
I
hope
like that it
we
was
get-
ground focused this time around.
Yeah, I do hope we get more of that focus on FPS stuff, because don't get me wrong, ship stuff is cool, but one thing that I've always liked about Star Citizen is that it's intended from the ground up, not just that, okay, you have this spaceship or you have this vehicle. Sure, that's
Yeah.
great, but what are you doing with it? It's not just having it. And like, every single ship is a copy of a previous one with some stat buffs. It's okay, but what are you doing with it? Well, I want
Yeah,
to
the
build
Elite
lore,
Dangerous model.
mine. Yeah, not to say and not to say there is anything wrong with that necessarily. Just it's a different style, a different focus of gameplay.
Yeah,
And so
it's a
like,
more immersive sandbox.
yeah, exactly. Because it's like, for example, hey, where the fuck is that fire extinguisher? Because, oh shit, there's a fucking fire on your ship. And I honestly would not be surprised to see once um, fire propagation, all that stuff, and fire extinguishers are all fully implemented in the game. I wouldn't be surprised to see a fire extinguisher attachment for the multi-tool as well.
Like
Why
some kind of
not?
fire suppressant attachment or something. Yeah.
Well-
Yeah, or just like a compressed CO2 canister or something.
Well, I just like the idea that if you're going to have a fire extinguisher for a ship, then in Star Citizen, that means that same fire extinguisher, all the mechanics are worked out for it. So guess what? You're going to see fire extinguishers in bunkers. You're going to see them in habitats.
Oh yeah.
You're going to see them in ships. You're going to see them in space station. They're going to
Hell,
be
not even that.
everywhere.
Not even that, but the because the functionality is there, why not having chemical throwers?
It's
Or
all
like, hey, if you have a helmet off and you spray that in someone's face, they're gonna go and start losing consciousness, which
Yeah.
would be pretty hilarious.
Yep. And
I
that's
just-
you
I
can
agree
tie
that
in player status
the
effects
camp-
to it and have essentially a new interactable in the world for a different purpose other than just putting out fires.
Well, I
You were saying?
think a lot of games are very kind of what Cam was saying at the beginning, are like Elite Dangerous, where it's like, well, we found this one aspect that we really wanted to like delve into, but that means that we didn't focus on these other things. And I like the idea that Star Citizen is kind of going, no, we're gonna cover mechanics from space to ground, like
We're doing everything.
it's full sandbox immersion. So if space travel isn't your thing, we still got a game for you. You're just going to be hanging out on planets,
And even if you're
Or
not just hanging out on
planetary isn't
planets,
your game, we got
there's-
spaceships. Go do point A to B
Yeah.
transport.
Right,
We
but
got
like
you.
say you're not a pilot, you don't want to be the guy flying ships or whatever. You're not stranded
got a
in one
game for you.
location. You have other players as well as NPCs and shuttling services that can take you to other locations, so you don't have to go somewhere yourself. You can essentially hire someone else to take you.
I
there's-
saw a Reddit
there's
post earlier
options.
today on the Star Citizen Reddit, and
Oh, God.
the focus.
Dirty words.
Oh, no.
Dirty words.
I frequent it. I frequent it.
Yeah, I do too.
We know.
But in this case, I saw that someone had made a post where the ballista had spawned in the menu screens without the weapon turret on the back, so it looked like it was just a flatbed truck. And so a lot of the discussion started talking about things like, hey, roads and that kind of stuff. And people were mentioning, hey, it'd be pretty cool to be able to be a space truck, space road trucker. It's like, hey, I'm over here at New Babbage. These roads are fucking icy as shit and terrible, but I got to get this Ursa or this, whatever cargo truck here over to this emergency station because some guy crashed his ship nearby and they need to get some medical supplies over there. But because of the weather, a ship, a fucking Cutlass Red can't just fly over there. Off I go at 3 fucking a.m. driving my little truck over, hoping I don't crash somewhere or run into the fucking Yeti. Like, that'd be some amazing gameplay.
Yep. I'm all for it. Like that's That's why I want a
Meanwhile, the guy's
utility
sitting
ground
there.
vehicle.
Please make it. Please make it.
Yeah. If the cost is good enough, somebody will respond.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something we should probably hit upon. Apparently, what Star Citizen is CIG has agreed that you shouldn't be running around medding people.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they've now instituted the green zone policy.
Yep,
For anyone who doesn't know, pretty much the problem here. Yeah. By the way, I finally have access to the PT. So the problem is that people can just run around with their med gun and then just drug people walking around in armistice zones, which you're
or
not allowed
rather
to pull out
overdose
weapons.
people to the point where they can no longer walk or fly effectively, or to the point where you are essentially comatose and can no longer play the game.
Okay, for legal purposes, I don't like to use overdose. I like to say applying medication.
Uh-huh.
Bottom line is the result is the player that's being drugged ends up being essentially passed out on the floor, and then the players that drugged him get to loot his body.
Yeah.
So they're trying to mitigate that from happening as frequently.
But I mean, it's a fairly big deal that they've stepped in as quickly as they have.
Yeah,
especially in the
true.
PTU. Like that's kind of showing you the importance level it has.
Oh yeah, because can you imagine the backlash if that went live?
Yeah. That's twice now that we've seen two major steps towards player experience over, testing mechanics just in this patch. Because the first one was, oh man, why can't I think of it right now?
I don't know.
The
the 30K corrections.
Oh right.
Taking the snapshots and saving your stuff. Like that's an add-on afterthought patch fix. And then now the green zone medical is what I call it. That's
the green zone.
But in the past, you would have never seen this kind of response for
no, which is they're improving
another couple months.
They're improving their customer support, if you will.
Sorry?
They're improving their customer support, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I think they're finally starting to realize that, if they want test data, then they have to make it testable. And if it's just a sucky experience constantly, people stop playing.
Yep. Also, you were saying before we went live about CitizenCon how you were kind of gauging the entire community reaction from, and how what we said in our review was kind of accurate.
Oh. Yeah. So basically, just kind of giving time between, SitCon and now, just kind of watching what's been going on since then, and how other people have been kind of settling into their ideas of whether or not SitCon was successful or not. And I think overall, from looking at what other content managers and just random people in general, Star Citizens, are thinking, I think we did get it right in that the general consensus seems to be that this was a good, a positive SitCon. But at the same time, it seems like everyone agrees that there is room for improvement. Things that could be done a little bit better. But overall, it was a for the conditions it was given, dealing with the issues of the past year, it was a good SitCon. It's there's I think the biggest issue that I can see now, as far as like people's reactions, is that the content creators, YouTubes and Twitches, seem to be the most upset with the format, just because there wasn't, flash and show for them to cut and paste for their B-roll, for later on content.
Which is what we said in our review as well. So.
Yeah. So, it's understandable that, the board gamers and people like that are not as happy as we are, but overall, it seems that the community thinks we had a generally successful sitcon. Positive.
I mean, I'm a sucker for all the technical stuff, and I got what I wanted with on this year. I mean, yeah, we didn't there wasn't a huge, spectacle of gameplay stuff. There wasn't the huge oh, here's giant sandworms or this or that. But usually, whenever we get those things, it's like, oh, when are we getting this? And then 5 years go by. Whereas what they showed off, a lot of those systems are already in game. On screen right now, I have that scene where he's starting to do the platforming. He's using the multi-tool to grab boxes and solve a Half-Life style puzzle. All that stuff, you can do that in game right now. The only thing that's not in game is the location and the mission. Looting is in game. The healing mechanics are in game. Obviously, the FPS combat. So.
For anyone who's listening, or for you guys that are, here now, if you want to hear Disco Lando, i.e., community manager Jared, actually say some really interesting stuff about the format of CitizenCon and the past year's ISC information releases, you want to check out Astropub, Star Citizen Captain's Table 24-hour stream, and there's a I just
timestamp
messed that up. CIG to sell extra storage episode, and in that episode, you will get Jared actually calling in and talking on Discord openly with Astropub. Who else is in there? The guy who does the Yacht Club. Show.
Joran.
Sorry?
Joran.
No, not Joran. The other guy, the bald guy. I can't think of his name right
Murray?
now. Sorry, what?
No, not Stim.
Stim, yes, Stim. And then you've also got HC Vertigo.
Sorry, Stim.
And HC Vertigo and also Darginator. And he goes on and talks openly with all four of them about this is why you got the CitizenCon format that you got, and it's really informative. I recommend people going and seeing it. And I want to say it's about halfway through. I don't have the exact tag.
How dare you?
I know. God, I'm such a bad content provider. But that was to me that his comments in this show helped kind of encapsulate the context of this past year for the community management teams, in a positive way. I think it was good. Anyways, that's all I got.
Okay, halftime show. Mando, take it away.
I'm not singing.
You just said it.
Right, but yeah, so no, it's good because essentially, we're getting answers. We're actually getting feedback from, we're the community. We're giving them feedback, but it's nice to get feedback in return on some of the feedback. There's actual communications, actual dialogue going on, and that's good.
Yes, absolutely. And to give you an example, HC Vertigo goes absolute, he loses it at the beginning of the show about the Liberator platform ship.
I liked it.
And yeah, he doesn't. And he actually gets to the point where you can see people are like, dude, calm down, man. You're freaking out on live TV. And but afterwards, Disco comes on, he goes, and I just want to comment to HC Vertigo, you're absolutely right about all your complaints about the Liberator. But then he goes to put it in a really good context, which is he goes, it's not, don't worry about, the fact that you hate it. That's a good sign, because that's the point of what we're trying to create here, is something that gets a reaction. It may not be a positive reaction, but you had a reaction. What we don't want is for you to just go, I don't care about it. It doesn't, because that's a failure. That in the art world, that's a failure. If you can't get somebody to have an emotion, whether it's positive or negative, then you failed.
It's not wrong.
And
That's
that's what he was basically. That's the context he was able to take something that HC Vertigo was just freaking out about, and say, "Hey, dude, yeah, cool, glad you're saying that. But remember, zoom out one level, and there's a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, we're just trying to create content for everybody, and some people are going to like it, some people aren't going to like it.
that's another thing too.
At least you're in one of those crowds, and you're not in the middle just going, I don't care, and going to wander away from the project because of that lack of
the lack of interest.
Yeah. So
Now,
it was
what about modern
that was good.
art, though, where modern art intends to just get everyone to go,
Good. Well, I think that's the reaction of the original art, of trying to get one or the other, and then of course you always got to have those people like Cam who if you tell me it's black or white, then I'm going to say no, I'm gray. Silent.
I'll have you know, when I was in college, so the Dark Ages, which was...
They didn't have colleges back then.
Yeah,
So that
we
was
were all
4
mud-sucking
years ago.
peasants.
My God, I'm getting old. But
All of us
anyway,
are.
when I was in
Hey,
college...
I don't want to hear about you trying to pick up women, okay? Just because you can't
No,
say
just
you're
your mom.
strolling the campus.
But I almost took, or rather I did take, but quickly dropped, a art appreciation class. Because on the very first day of it, because I'm just like, hey, I need some credits here to fill out everything. I got all my requireds and everything. Fuck it, let's get more cultured here. But the reason why I dropped it the very first day of class, because I had that semester with my military unit, I had to go and take 4 weeks out of the semester to go on a fucking training op we were doing. Now, thankfully, or not so thankfully for me personally, but thankfully for the schedule, it was right when spring break was occurring. So no spring break for me, but it also means that it's only 3 weeks of classes that I'm missing. But I went to each of my professors and I'm like, hey, by the way, I'm in the reserves and I've got a training op coming on. Are you to work with me to say I'm willing to do whatever work you want me to make sure I'm learning the material, but are you willing to work with me to make sure I get all the material and don't fall behind in class? All of them were like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Won't be an issue at all. This guy was like, we'll see. And I was just like, nope.
So that's why you hate art?
I have nothing against art, but like when I'm coming to you,
Just mine.
And I said it pretty much exactly that way. Like I'm not trying to like muscle my way in.
Weasel out of it.
Hey, look, here's my situation. Can you work with me on this? And if you just go, maybe, like I'm just, oh no,
Yeah. Well,
It's either
I hate to
commit or
say it,
don't
but there's
commit, right?
shitty teachers everywhere.
So
There's teachers who shouldn't be teachers.
yeah,
Yeah, that's for sure.
I've had my fair share of those. I think we all have.
Yeah. I also think that art in general, trying to teach art is also very difficult to do, just because you really, like, the teacher or the instructor or the professor, whoever it is, almost has to hit just the right note for each individual person who's receiving it. Otherwise, you're just going to have people who turn off. So you're not going to get everybody, just because the subject of art is so
Subjective.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely very easy for people to be turned off by one instruction style, and then you have somebody else come in and like, oh wow, I never, this instructor is
I would say
really good.
I would say though, more people are turned on than turned off by art. Just look at Rule 34. Am I wrong?
Cam,
though?
don't look at Rule 34 for.
Hey,
No,
I guarantee you, within a month, and I guarantee you it already exists, but I further guarantee you, when Squadron 42 goes live within a month, front page, you're gonna be seeing fucking Vandal chips. Guarantee it. Guarantee it.
I don't I have to disagree with you, Cam. I think there's somebody some nerd somewhere who already has, you know,
Oh yeah. Oh,
FanDuel
absolutely.
chicks
Oh, I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree.
in 3D modeled, you know, ready to go and show his friends once people actually know
Okay,
what the hell
to be
FanDuels
fair,
are.
it's literally just the Vandal character with boobs.
Probably. And you know, extra emphasize on the backside.
Of
The
course.
rear.
Of course. No,
But
the
anyways.
derriere.
No, the rear
How
guard.
dare you speak French to me, sir?
Sacre bleu.
Go away, or I shall taunt you a second time.
Your mother was a hamster.
And your father smells of elderberries.
But yeah, it's
What were we
art
talking
is
about?
crazy.
Yes, art.
Yes,
Yeah,
art. We were
that's
talking about the ships and how not like. Yeah, some people may not like some of the ships, and some people may like some of the ships. So that's the whole point. Is that
That's what
They're
we're
not-
talking about?
not every ship's meant for. One ship isn't made for everyone. It's made for specific
Except the Pisces. The
roles.
Pisces is
Well,
not.
yeah, the Pisces just is. It's literally a working horse that can do everything, but or at least should be able to. But the you're gonna have ships like or a lot of the Origin ships. They look great, but they're not really my speed. I prefer something more functional. But I literally there's the whole yacht club is pretty much completely devoted about Origin ships and the 890 jump, and they all love their luxury ships. So
Yeah.
everyone's got different tastes, and Star Citizen, at least the devs, the art team, are they also have different tastes, and they're making different various ships. Like
Free
take
wrong.
a Origin ship versus a Drake ship. The complete opposite of the spectrum in terms of like quality and luxury.
See, but even that statement right there shows like your personal preference. There's some people out there who might think that, you know, Origin is not the opposite end of the spectrum. To them, they might use the example of, you know, Anvil versus Drake, just because in their view, Anvil's a better looking series, or reverse that. Like, there's just so many directions to come at it from.
Right. Like, like you'll have people that hate Drake ships, and then you'll have people that love Drake ships. You'll see people that are more Aegis versus Anvil, or vice versa. So it's the whole, and again, just different folks with different strokes, and it's cool that Star Citizen kind of accommodates that.
That really sounded like a prostitute term.
What? Different strokes for different folks.
Strokes for different folks.
Actually, he said different strokes, or different folks for different strokes.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I'm not. Anywho,
Anyway,
that apparently didn't even register on radar. Never mind. Yeah, there's definitely variety, and that's what they're going for. And going back to the original of the original of the original, it was just good to see Jared, you know, kind of handle that concept and get people kind of out of their rant mode and just to take a step back and see the bigger picture of kind of like, yeah, hey, we get it. Like, we're not trying to design every single ship to appeal to every single person. We don't want that. We want you to feel good and bad about all the different ships. And it was good to see that.
right.
Not to go off on a complete.
Speaking
different
of
tangent,
ships,
but-
Liberator, the Liberator Q&A is out. Shall we dive in?
That was out like a week ago.
Yeah, did we talk about it last week?
Mm.
I don't think we did.
Other than the fact that they released it, but that was about it.
Probably.
I mean, to me, just I haven't gone through the Q&A yet, but it's another ship that it has a place. I think a lot of people don't understand what its place is, but to me, it makes sense. Like it has its unique position that makes it different from the Hercules series, the Kraken, all the other big ship haulers. It still the Liberator still fits a unique position, I think, in the game. So I can see it being used. I'm not necessarily a fan of it in the sense that I'm not going to go and buy one for real money. And I probably won't own one in game just because.
Probably one of us will have one. one of the guys in the org.
Well, not only that, but to me, it seems like the gameplay that's involved in running that thing is not the gameplay I'm looking for. Whereas if I need it, if I need the hauling capability, I'd be okay with going to hiring one. Just because I think that's a one-off,
Well, I mean, I like
not common.
the idea of having like you have a Liberator. And the whole idea of a Liberator is that it has very large fuel tanks, large quantum drive to be able to get it to take the smaller ships and traverse them to where they might otherwise not be able to go because of their ranges there.
Well,
So
that
I like
hauling ground vehicles as well.
oh yeah. But I like the idea of having, you've got your a Gladius, a Cutlass Black, and like a Pisces or something on there. You've got your little strike force here. Maybe more ships too. But with 400 SCU of supplies along for the ride, assuming you aren't packing anything to just sell it all, but I can go and have a Vulcan land on those landing pads, fill up on supplies, whether it be fuel, ammo, repair parts, repair ships that as needed as they come by. So
Yep.
I can support with that a much larger strike force than what can just land on those pads. Or I can support one small strike force for a very long time, or for a very long set of operations.
Yeah. The only caveat I would throw to that is we still don't know exactly how the Vulcan mechanics will work as far as, are they going to put limitations in any way, shape, or form on how it resupplies itself?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But I like the overall idea of where you're going with that, definitely.
Yeah, I'm hoping that you'll be able to resupply the Vulcan both through just loading cargo up through a standard cargo loading means, whatever those might be, because
Right.
I believe it has some internal cargo storage. But I also hope, and I would say there's a decent chance of it happening, that it's like, oh hey, for example, let's say if I am flying around and we get in a small scuffle, a couple Buccaneers were coming out to the strike force. They were quickly dispatched. Well, hey, let me pull my Vulcan out, send the drones out, siphon off their fuel, their ammo, any parts we can use for repairs, real quick. And hey, I've now resupplied using those wrecks for
Right.
filling back up the Vulcan with those supplies. I don't know if that
Battlefield
might run too
salvage.
much in. Yeah, exactly. And I don't know where they're going to draw the line between repair and salvage, because with how they're talking about, I would hope that you're going to have stuff oriented towards more one than the other, but it should still be like an option, but a reduced efficiency or something that I can use my repair drones on the Vulcan to, okay, let me just grab the quick stay. Maybe I'm going to leave most of what's on there because it's going to take too long. We're not here for extended operations of salvage, but let me grab the quick shit and off we go. And hey, I just increased our fuel storage by 10% or whatever.
Right. No, that I can see them. Yeah, I can see a way to do it, but it seems it would be convoluted. How do I put this?
Yes. No, absolutely. There's too much we don't know, and too many systems that we rely on that are not fleshed out yet for us to
Yeah.
really be able to peg it down.
But it makes sense that like the Vulcan should be able to use your example. You know, there's a ship recently, you know, recently taken out of action. You know, the crew's dead. There's no living things on board.
Yeah.
You got a Vulcan and you got a Vulture. To me, there's a situation where the Vulcan could come in and you could work the mechanics where the Vulcan is capable of taking any readily available
Materials.
materials that are in a set state. In other words, like fuel. If the fuel is actually in liquid format, they can siphon it off. You know, because it goes right into the tanks. But now, let's say you don't have that ship there, then I could see you being in a Vulture and going, hey, look, I just found 45 gallons of gas, but because of the way my Vulture salvage system works, I can't go and just grab that fuel because I don't have the tanks for that. But what I can do is break that fuel down into its subcomponents and then store those in, you know, so the gas becomes, you know, half hydrogen and half, I don't know, alcohol, you know, in two different tanks. And that way both salvage and resupply have gameplay mechanics, but they're also doing two different things at the same time, or capabilities
different
at the same
but complementary.
time. Exactly. But like you just said, that's a lot of ifs and buts, and you know, are they willing to go down that far down the road of each one of those mechanics tying in with each other? Who knows?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. But I like your idea of that, you know, the Liberator, that's just yet another capability it has is, you know, you stick a Vulture or Vulcan on there and it becomes a home base or a mini home base. But I also think a lot of people are looking at it.
And a Vulture.
Yeah, so we didn't do it because
one?
apparently it only came out 5 days
Okay.
ago, the Q&A. So we didn't talk about it because it hasn't been 5 days. It's been 7.
Gotcha.
Yes.
I think a lot of people in the community are don't realize quite where the Liberator fits in, and people are looking at it as either it's a full-blown Kraken, i.e., you know, it's supposed to basically be a ferry for all my ships, and that's not 100% accurate. Or other people are looking at it as like, well, this thing's supposed to land on the beachhead, and you know, it should be able to fight its way in and out. And it's like, nope, that's also not what it's supposed to do. But
yeah, it's not quite.
No, it's not the D-Day thing.
Well, it is. That's just it. Like most people don't realize what a Higgins boat is. You know, that's what most people.
Well, I mean, in terms of it's not meant for like going in. It is for delivering and dropping off, but it's not going to then. Okay, now it's landed at the beach. Now it's going to drive up the beach and lead the charge. It's not
exactly.
It's not like a Valkyrie that's dropping off a couple cyclones or bikes or something to where you could go and be circling the battlefield and providing fire support. It's literally just hop on, take you there, hop off.
Right.
Protection,
fly away.
It's not what we do.
Yeah. It's if you're trying to stay on the battlefield with the Liberator, you've got big problems. And they're your own
just
fault.
Waiting for someone else to drive on there, you're going, come
right,
on,
like
come
you're
on,
at an extraction point, and you're literally like, come on, we can't wait here much longer.
But what I mean is, if you're hanging out on the battlefield, like hovering with a Liberator, trying to shoot things with it.
Oh yeah, no, you done fucked up.
Yeah.
You're kind of screwed a little bit.
I do see people at least trying to go and shove as many Nova tanks and back kind of shit and just flying around, like flying with it upside down with all the tanks aiming down toward the ground, using it as a mobile battle platform or some shit.
And I support that 100%. I want people to do that because the more you that do that, the easier targets you'll be for me.
Well, I mean, you take an A2 and drop a nice size 10 bomb.
They can't see what's behind, what's beneath them.
Yeah. but yeah, I think a lot of people just it's going to take time, and it's going to take the ship actually being out and like people doing what you're talking about. Just trying all the stupid stuff before people really understand what it's designed to do. And I think it'll be good at that once people understand that. Like it's the Higgins boat. Load up,
Yeah.
fly in, drop your stuff, get out.
I mean, that's what I got from it from the original Ship Talk video. Like it's just it's like a ferry type vehicle, but obviously in a more it does have a combat role, but in the way that a Higgins boat had a combat role. It's just here we're dropping you off. You're at the drop off point. Now go, so we can get the hell out of here.
It's a landing craft. You
Yeah.
know? But I think a lot of people forget about the vehicle part, and they're fixated on the landing platforms and the ships, and they're thinking like, this is my pocket carrier, and it's like, nope.
And that's
it is a pocket carrier, but
it can
its
be.
weapons are also pocket sized. Like it, from what I've heard, it should have somewhat decent armor for a ship of its size, but at the same point, that's armor. That's just meant to allow you to fly
essentially
in,
breathing room.
Take a few hits from the defenses, drop off the guys you're dropping off, your ground crews, and get the fuck out without dying. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing.
Yep.
Like I said, it's breathing
room.
room.
Hovering over the battlefield, going, "I'm going to provide fire support." No, the fuck you aren't.
Yeah, exactly.
You can try.
But I think there's from what I've been seeing over the past week, I think there's a portion of the community that forgets that, and they're looking at it as like, this is like my mini Kraken. It's going to carry all my flight ships, and we're going to be a mini carrier. And it's like, no.
Oh
that's
no.
fine. But if you're like, oh, and we're also going to go and rule and tear over all we survey, you're not fucking quite there, buddy.
Yeah.
Good luck is all I have to say to those people.
It's like it's just like if you were to go and take a Higgins and throw it in a pond, sure, you might rule and tear in your little bitty pond there, but as soon as you open that up to even a lake size, you aren't the king anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, it's also just, again, it goes back to a problem within a lot of people in the Star Citizen community. That being that, like, oh, it's all about the ships. When no, ships are just a tool. Like you can play all in the entirety of Star Citizen. You can probably play without piloting a ship at all. Like at least to me, Star Citizen's much more than just freaking ships. You want just ships. That's what Elite Dangerous is. Star Citizen is like the player character in essentially an open universe with ships as a tool to get around that open universe. But it's not all about the ships. There's ground vehicles, there's your FPS combat. So it's,
well, like I said, it's not that you have the vehicle, it's what you do with the vehicle.
Yeah. What gameplay can you do with a ship that you have? And then that's one type of game. But then you got the other game, which is, I don't have that ship, but what gameplay can I do? And you still have multiple options. And to me, that's what I like.
Guess what? You're part of the ground crew. Fuck!
Yeah. Yep. Somebody's got to swap
in our
the
own
vehicle,
org, we have a few members that are like, I don't want, I'm not a pilot, I don't want to fly. Like, that's fine. We have a ton of pilots, and we need crew members, so...
Oh, there's YouTubers out there who have, like, their channel is specifically about, I've never flown a ship, but here I am, with 8 million credits. How did I do it? Well, I started out, got on somebody else's ship and started manning turrets. And then I got somebody else to, let me do basically fly box missions while I was the person who jumped out, grabbed the box, and, got back on the ship. But somebody else flew it. Like, there's whole gameplays towards that. I just like that it's possible. Anywho, I think we've been down this black hole well for a while.
A little bit.
Hello.
So one of the questions here in the Q&A is saying how are the ships on the deck shielded by the Liberator Size 3 shields with the new SDF shield tech? the answer, which is they are not explicitly protected. However, the shield projects multiple meters from the ship's hull, so most ships would likely be partially covered, but not entirely. The same applies
So,
to
a
the
yes or
Kraken
no
and
answer.
other ships with the vehicle stored on the exterior.
Does mean we're going to get a slight bubble shield.
Which means
Slightly.
if you don't have that ship sitting on the pad powered on, guess what? Don't have shields if it's not meeting the criteria of
Right, so based on the ship's
Liberator's
size,
full
it's going to be
shields.
like maybe if you have a bunch of arrows parked with their wings angled upward, they're probably going to be sticking out from the shields.
Right.
Just as an example.
Yeah. Again, I think people should recognize that these QAs are notorious for giving you market speak answers, which is not committing to anything specific so they can later change what they're doing.
Which I think is part of the problem as to having a Q&A this early in the concept
Yep.
phase. But,
And for anyone who's in doubt, go ahead and read your Terrapin Q&As
yeah.
and then judge what you have right now.
No, we're not getting into a Terrapin black hole debate right now.
Got to slip Terrapin in every show somehow, somewhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Q&As are notoriously inaccurate. Personally, I don't trust them at all, but I know some other people do. But like that's an example to look at is notice what the intent of the question was, and then notice how they basically didn't answer it.
Yep.
It was like a yes but no. Literally. Well,
Yeah.
It was a yes but no
Like
answer.
we'll get a few questions here and there where they're like, this, yes, this, no. But there's a lot where they go and tap dance around the issue.
Yeah. It's
Annoying.
because I was just, as you were reading that, Mando, I was like, so basically they didn't answer it, and they're implying that they're thinking right now, by the way that they're answering that, is that the ship that is being carried will provide its own protection, but that doesn't make sense if the ship is powered off, because then your shield generator isn't working.
Yep.
And that's not good if you're going into, a hostile area.
Nope.
What could possibly go wrong?
Lots. Want a list?
Anyways,
Details.
sorry.
No, so aside from the whole Q&A thing, yeah, I put the link of it for it in the chat. I'll actually correct it. I didn't put it in the description. I forgot about it, so I'll do that now.
Oh god.
But we also have This Week in Star Citizen. So we have a schedule of what's happening this week.
What's happening?
Let's see, Monday.
Going on, rerun.
Monday, we've got questions being answered on server meshing and persistent streaming. We got a Q&A. So that being today. So if you have any questions, these are the core initiatives. So it's pretty much, it's like a follow-up to CitizenCon stuff. Tuesday, narrative team dusts off its library of horrors and treats us to Galactapedia update. So we're getting a lore update on Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to have... okay, so the end of the Cave Runners Halloween contest for Wednesday. As well as the pumpkin carving contest, and you can see some of the pumpkin carved here, and they're freaking incredible.
Yeah, every year people usually go kind of nuts with this.
That's Wednesday. 27th, also Day of the Vera, which is, I think, that's in-universe Halloween, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The black and green
Unless
themed
it's
holiday
okay.
encourages celebrants to dress up in costumes and swap scary stories. What a perfect opportunity to play FPS. Halloween. Friday is the principal environment artist Josh Van Zuylen. I'm butchering that name. I apologize. Returned for a special live extended look at the earliest work bringing the upcoming Outlaw space stations of Pyro to 3D in-engine life. Had an hour's worth of tremendous content, and we cut him down to 5 minutes for CitizenCon. So come see everything you missed live with Peanut Gallery comments from Jared this Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. UT on Twitch. So that starts us in live. So yeah, not a super large. I mean, it's actually a pretty big week, especially compared to the past week. But most of it just community stuff, as in like it's not. Oh look, you're getting this giant CIG update about server meshing and this. And I mean, we are, but it's just one thing. I don't know why I'm playing it off like it's no big deal, but I mean, well, I guess we'll find out, right? And it was supposedly today, so let's see what. Here's the server meshing Q&A. Some of the questions.
Plus, I mean, you gotta remember, pretty much everything they're gearing for now is the IAEA event.
Yeah.
So
now that the Halloween stuff is all kind of done, this week at least.
Is it though?
Well, this week they're ending the contests and stuff, so all the Halloween stuff's gonna be done this week.
Are they though?
No.
I fully expect to see them wring out everything they possibly can over the next couple weeks of ISC, based off of what they're doing right now, which is taking all that content that they didn't show and making those into half-hour, 1-hour shows for ISC to cover what they're doing probably right now, real time, for the upcoming I can't think of the word right now.
Intergalactic Aerospace Expo.
Yeah, the Aerospace Expo coming in late November. So I expect their content to be kind of dry.
I honestly, right now their content's a bit more wet than I expected it to be right now.
Dry was the wrong word. I guess canned, like
pre-recorded stuff and a lot of yeah. I mean, again, the community Q&A that I have on screen, this just started today, so I don't know when is this supposed to be coming in? Like, is this for a Star Citizen Live?
Well, I mean, you're gonna have community content because of the Halloween stuff.
No, this is obviously a server meshing Q&A on Spectrum that they just started today. I assume it's for a video, but I don't know when.
No, that was in the video, because that video that they're showing. Scroll back up. I'm on delay. So that you see that diagram in the video that they show right there in the center of your screen.
No, this is a follow-up for it, though.
Never mind.
Yeah, this, I know what you mean.
Like, that was in the...
Yeah, that was in the server meshing CitizenCon video. They say as much.
Right, so they're answering questions about that, right?
That's what Q&A is? It's a follow-up to it.
Okay. Sorry, the way you were talking about it before made it sound like it was a new, topic.
No, it's the same topic, but it's a follow-up on that topic. Again, it's a new Q&A thing they're doing based on that, on the CitizenCon video, because the video itself was very short compared to normal server meshing panels. Really good video, though. Like, visual aid was really helpful, I think.
Yeah. They needed more visual aids on some of the other panels.
Yes. You know which one specifically? The renderer
there
one.
Were a couple, but I don't want to single them out. I mean, they were dry topics that I think...
I don't know, I thought the rendering one was pretty interesting, but that could have used some more visual aid.
But, I mean, I think there are certain topics that some people are going to be really interested in, and to them it totally made sense.
Right.
Whereas, if you're trying to sell it to somebody who's not as interested, more easily discernible visual cues might be beneficial.
I guess it just depends on the topic.
What are you trying to say?
There's a topic like server meshing that everyone is interested in. Yeah, have visuals. This way you're compensating for both the people that aren't, in the technical know-hows and...
Yeah. I just think there are other topics that could have used more of this.
No, I agree. I think, and ideally all of them would, but they don't all need visual aid. Yeah, so it's cool. We're going to be getting some more answers on server meshing. We're going to get some more ISC Star Citizen Live this week. On Friday will be about the Mushroom Face stations and stuff like that. So kind of, I'm interested to hear it just because I want to know more about the locations in Pyro. Given that we've seen a thing or two of Pyro, but
we know a thing or two because we've seen
exactly. But we only know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
I would love to see just and I don't care if it's sped up, but a video clip, and they don't have to show us the internals of it, because I know that they're trying to hold some stuff back, but take me from exit of jump point to Pyro Station in video.
Oh, like one of those, you start small, then you pan out of those one singular
or just
shot.
have a ship, load up your 890 jump or whatever, whatever ship is supposed to be the popular ship for Pyro, but just have a video of flying. The pilot looks around, so you get an idea of, maybe you see the gas cloud of the jump point behind you, so you know as a viewer where you're starting from, and then just fly the ship to Pyro Station and make a video of that. And that's where I was saying, I don't mind if you compress it, but that would be really interesting for them to release, because then it gives you an idea of the scope and size of the system
compared to Stanton, especially.
Yep. And it lets everyone kind of introduce, how jump points, how far jump points are going to be, how they're going to interact, and then going into Pyro, what Pyro's going to look like externally. And, it just kind of answers some of the expectations without specifically answering the expectations, if that makes sense. Just with a video.
It gets show don't tell, pretty much.
Yeah. A fly-in, essentially.
I'm game.
I don't know how long it would take in the game. I don't know the distances that we're talking, but make it into a 2-minute video, 3-minute video.
I imagine that's what they're going to do for their Pyro trailer when it comes in, when the patch for it goes live.
I hope so.
Similarly to what they did with Crusader when 3.14 went live. It's probably going to be something like that.
You're not hearing me, Mando. I want it now, not then.
I know, but I'm saying that's probably when you're going to get it.
It's your money. Use it when you need it.
Oh, that's bad, Cam. That's bad.
Are you just quoting commercials all today?
It's your credits. Use it when you need it.
Next he's going to start quoting Delta Airline commercials and please don't start quoting the medical commercials. Possible side effects can include nausea, diarrhea, constipation, death, coma. I love it, those are all symptoms in the same commercial.
Wait, what was that second to last one? Discoloration of the nose?
Oh, I can't use that. I'm okay with vomiting and diarrhea, but discoloration of the nose.
I always love how they say diarrhea and constipation and in the same side effect, as side effects for the same drug.
Two opposite ends of the spectrum.
It's it may cause this or the other. We don't actually know because we just have to say every side effect to make sure we're covered.
Yep. Yeah. The speak.
Anyway, Cam started quoting
I was just
commercials.
expressing that I think that would be really good for the community in general if they did a video like that.
Oh,
I would
agree.
like it, and it's a way of doing, like we said, show but don't tell. And I think after the sitcon, they need that. They need a little bit more of that. Don't tell me about it. Show it to me.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, especially since a lot of
panels were kind of dry.
Yeah, especially since a lot of this year's CitizenCon was mostly just talking with a little bit of showing, and That's fine. It's just now you gotta do the opposite. Now you gotta give us a little bit of show of at least of pyro because we know we're getting that soon. So might as well show some of it.
Soon. He
Soon
emphasized
TM, yes, soon.
I had to TM it.
So yeah, it's got 13 astronomical units, and where's freaking Stanton? Let's use that point.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be huge.
Yeah, I mean Stanton's what, like 6 or something? 5?
It's gonna be in Japan.
Stanton is
people
5
think is that-
astronomical units, and pyro is 13.
It's astronomical.
Yes,
Yeah, your
that's
ships are gonna run out. I think it's gonna be funny to watch because
Until it happens to you.
People who are going and like tuning their ships for like, the fastest run time between Microtech and
Crusader.
Olisar.
Yeah.
And as soon as pyro comes out, you're gonna watch people like breaking down in the middle of flight. And then
so
there's
fun,
going to
though.
be this like gold rush for components where everyone's going to be going to like the D-class component because it's got the longest fuel range. Who cares about its emissions? I look like an ambulance and a fire truck and a police car combined as far as emissions go, with all the lights and sirens going. But it gets me across pyro system,
Well, what I'm going to love is when people go and they decide, oh, I'm going to go and make this journey anyway. What do you mean you're out of fuel because this is the one refueling spot for the entire system? Help, I'm stranded. I fly over in my Vulcan, hopping off the Liberator. Yeah, I can fill you up. It's going to cost you.
Yeah, I hear you.
It's totally gonna happen though. Like, how can it not?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's there. To me, pyro is introduced with a distance, and I'm talking about the distances involved of the system. To me, it's gonna be a game-changing introduction in the same sense that inventory and healthcare, medical gameplay are changing the way people play their characters. In the verse, the distances involved in pyro are going to change the way people play their game.
Yeah.
And I look forward to the opportunities like what Cam's talking about, where I can set up shop, 5/10 of the way across, and watch people limp by, going, "Man, I really need gas." I'm like, I just happen to have a gallon of gas. It's only going to cost you 1 million UIC.
That'll be stranded. Take your pick.
You can have all you want. It's going to be a 500% markup, though.
Yeah.
That's outrageous. Not that.
It's like, that's outrageous. As outrageous as dying.
That's all about, perspective of where you are, and where you are right now is I'm the only one who's got the gas.
Tell you what, I like you. 100% markup.
Yeah, exactly. For you, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's.
I just can't wait. It's like, that's outrageous. As outrageous as dying. Okay.
Artifact you got there, and I'll give it to you at only a 200% markup.
Yeah.
I'm practically giving it away here.
Just be glad you're not going to Jim Bob's
I gotta
place.
put food on the table for my family. I mean, you can't. You don't want me to deprive my family, do you?
Yeah, my 12 Vandal children.
Who are robbing you blind as I'm keeping you...
Yeah.
Naturally.
Focused on
Hey,
the gas.
they're literally robbing me with no pretense, but aren't they so cute? Oh.
Yeah. They don't have any weapons, but you wouldn't strike a child.
With glasses. they're wearing the, like, what are the disguise glasses?
with the what's face
Yes.
Groucho Marx mustache and everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for anyone who hasn't lived outside the United States, yes, those caricatures do actually exist where kids mob you in the streets in certain countries. And just blatantly stick their hands in your pockets and try and take anything you have.
Shit, I know a lot of guys who went overseas with the military, and they were just stunned by they'd never seen anything like that. And it's like, hey, gotta watch your shit.
Yeah.
You think they won't go and pull a grenade right off your combat harness and scroll it away? Fuck yeah, they will.
Totally. And it's just like anywhere else, you know. It's about learning what the locals do and don't do. You know, if you're going to go to New York City, you need to learn how New York City works. If you go to Nebraska, you better learn how Nebraska works, or you'll be taken advantage of there too.
If you go to LA, remember that you're in LA and get the hell out of Dodge.
Wait, hold on. You said you were in LA, now we're in Dodge?
Don't be creating factions there in New York.
Like, it's probably on par, if not worse, here. I'm just making cracks for the sake of making cracks.
I do have good news though. If you do die in Chicago, you can still vote. I mean, what?
Yeah, as long as you vote for our party, right?
Anyway, moving on, because
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people just having the realization, and then
that you done
changing their gameplay mechanics. And I think that'll change how people look at their ships too, though. Like, and I'm looking forward to that, because you got a lot of people who are running around in, you know, their pew-pew fighters and all about their pew-pews, who are suddenly going to realize why the Liberator exists. Like,
that there's more than just pew-pew.
Exactly. Like, oh shit, yeah, no, I got to get my fighter from point A to point B. Oh, look at all these other ships that I haven't been paying attention to. Absolutely.
Yeah, and you're also going to have the people, you know, like, okay, they're going to be making more use of the Lagrange points and rest stops.
Yep.
Like, absolutely. I gotta stop and refuel, otherwise I'm going to be dead in the water. And
I'm glad you said that, because it reminded me of something. Camp, question.
Run!
In PTU right now, if you set your home spawn point as Hurston, do you spawn up in space?
No.
At the station?
Nope. So what you can do? So the way it works.
I know how it works. The system is supposed to work, but specifically for Hurston, because it doesn't have the hospital going. My understanding is that the communication that I'm hearing is that when you have to respawn, you spawn back at the station. I just want to get.
I never set mine at my spawn location there, but
yeah, I know how it's supposed to function for the other places.
Like what I've been doing is I go and set mine usually to New Babbage, and then I run around and resupply there, fly up to the station. Once I'm at the station, because bear in mind, the orbital stations and the planets, at least for right now, share a local inventory. So if I go and buy a whole bunch of shit down at New Babbage, it's already at the station, and vice versa. So because of that, I'll go and just, you know, stock up at New Babbage, fly up to the station, go to the clinic on the station, set that as my respawn point, and now I have no need to travel back down there unless I need to go and like pick up a ground vehicle or something like that.
Right. That's basically what I'm trying to figure out. But I don't, because I don't want to use. I know New Babbage is the popular one, and I don't want to do Horizon, and I'm not really a fan of the ArcCorp. Just because all the transiting involved. Whereas to me, if picking Hurston automatically kicks me up to the space station because of it not having the medical respawn on the ground, I'm all for it. But I haven't got anyone to actually confirm whether or not that's actually happening yet. Because, you know, them tying the medical facilities into the major landing points only, I'm kind of like, I don't like that. But that's just me. Did we lose Mando?
No, I just a little busy something. But yeah, it's. I wish the clinics were more than just, I guess. Oh, here you can heal, but you can't like respawn or anything. But again, this is first tier. Maybe they'll upgrade them later on or something.
I think so. I think it's gonna have. Well, it's gonna have to get to a point where the major space stations, i.e., not rust stops or Lagranges, but big, the big giant shipping hubs over major planets is what I mean by space stations. Are going to have full medical capability, because you're going to have people like those like the Hull Seas, they're going to have accidents on those, and guys are going to need immediate tier 1 healthcare that doesn't require them to go all the way down into atmosphere just to get medical coverage. So I think you're right that we're only seeing tier 1 right now, or of implementation, and eventually, tier 2 or 3 or further down the line, we'll finally get that full medical capability at those major stations. I don't know about all the minor stops though. The R&Rs.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll find out, and if we find out and it's not great, then we can speak our mind about it and hopefully get a change.
No, you get nothing.
So it sounds like me and Cam are going to be in competition, because
For what? Who gets lost in space first?
And the vultures. So what?
No,
I said for what? Who gets lost in space first?
Oh, that too. But Alexa, shut up. What it really means is that you're gonna have your Vulcan, where I've got my Vulture, and I'm gonna have my Vulture, where you've got your Vulcan.
Probably, yeah.
So that way we'll just piggyback off each other here.
Yep. Well, you got to have a one-stop shop for when somebody can't afford to pay for that, that extra gallon of gas. In which
That's
case, we
right.
need to break it down, and well,
break it down now.
Do the tow truck driver thing where, like, well, technically I can't help you as long as you're the owner of that vehicle and you're not willing to pay, but I would be willing to buy that ship off you for, say, the cost of transporting you to the nearest station.
This is robbery. No. This is robbery.
Yeah. Like, no. Now it's robbery.
I always found it funny going to certain states that had certain alcohol rules, and I just always found it interesting how certain places could do workarounds. In other words, like, yeah, let me buy that $9 glass of water. Oh, I get the free beer and alcohol with it. Oh, cool. Yeah, so I'm not buying alcohol. I'm buying a glass of water, but the glass of water costs $9. That mentality of business is how I've always found funny.
Where you're essentially using loopholes and
funny weird.
Both. Can't they be combined? I mean, that's the word weird, right? All right.
Anywho, any other Star Citizen stuff?
What are you trying to hint at? That we're not?
No, I'm just curious.
What do you got for us, Mando? What direction do you want us to go?
Well, I mean, we've got non-Star Citizen news,
right,
but if
side left.
we still have Star Citizen news, then we can continue with Star Citizen.
What?
And you can make me say Star Citizen multiple times in a single sentence because Star Citizen.
Every time you say Star Citizen, the Kotaku writers flinch a bit.
See, I don't see a schedule, so I have no idea what you have planned for this show, Mando.
Oh, you're
just an FYI.
Well, you're seeing the stream screen, right?
No.
Yeah, now you're moving it, but before it was just like
yeah, because I wasn't moving it before. Right, well, we have the Halo something. I skimmed through it just to get images, but I haven't actually watched it yet.
Halo.
But apparently we have campaign footage for Halo Infinite. It's okay, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't watched it yet, so I figure we can watch it live and give it an MST3K
Well,
style
yeah,
viewing.
if I'm gonna watch this live, I need a link.
I'm not up to speed on Halo at all, so I'm not
pretty
gonna
much
be worth
they're
anything.
making it a live service, monetized predatory stuff.
Oh, cool.
Not really.
So business as usual.
Yeah, pretty much. But apparently it's rated T for teen campaign.
Well, that's where they're gonna get their money.
Yeah, so
because,
no
Right.
you know,
fucking swearing. Got it? Good.
fuckers.
Cam, you at the timestamp that the link had?
What? Who? Where?
The link in the group chat?
There's a link? My god. Okay, I'm there.
Alright, hit play.
Since the beginning, Halo was about Master Chief and Cortana. Partners
Oh, it's not like an actual...
protecting humanity.
It's a marketing trailer, not like an actual campaign footage trailer.
Humanity is
What were
fighting
you
for
expecting?
survival.
Actual
The
campaign
banished
footage.
have risen, defeated
Get
our heroes, and taken control
Noob.
of the mysterious
Yeah.
Zeta.
It literally just looks like it's rehashing
to
footage.
see
It is just it's like, oh look, it has a new coat of paint because they upped the graphics from 2019, but it's still the same. I got classic Halo drums.
What's down there? A weapon. A weapon? How many guns?
Guy
do you
with a
need?
really stressed out face. Beef jumps. Because they need that really cliche action cut for the trailer footage. Hey, the
Well,
world
you
looks
gotta
nice.
Remember, like this is being geared towards those kids who haven't actually seen the
Who
past
never
10
played
years
Halo.
Of Halo.
Halo.
Yeah. It's
And
not for
we
the
gotta-
old farts like us who've played Halo
Nope.
since Halo existed.
To become Master Chief and discover
Yeah,
true
Yeah, we're
for the
freedom.
young,
we're fucking
fresh
washed
blood.
out
Wide
now.
open and adventure
Right.
Halo
It just looks weird
experience
for
yet.
that Banshee.
It's so because the marketing for this trailer feels like a multiplayer trailer, but it's for the campaign.
No, you know what
it's
it is?
not?
It's those games where the campaign is just to teach you how to play the multiplayer.
Following the events of Halo 5.
Yeah, like where it's just a glorified tutorial.
For the answer to a troubling question. What happened to Cortana?
I was created to lock down Cortana, but I don't know why.
Yeah.
This
What
who
did she
who
do that was so wrong?
who edited this trailer? Because I'm not like I'm still willing to
Oh no! Oh, that was terrible.
what?
The calling the vehicle. just-
Oh yeah, I just
that
got up to
takes
that
you
right now.
So out of the oh,
Yeah,
no.
it's.
Zeta Halo.
I get like you can make the argument. Okay, I get it's open world, but I'd rather have like stumbled across a vehicle in the open world,
Yeah.
like you did in ODST versus.
Or it's like if you want to have like a vehicle delivery kind of thing, sure, but like just the way they had that, it takes you out of the game so much.
It felt like I was going. I might as well just like pause the game, went into like an options menu, and then pressed spawn vehicle.
It felt very multiplayer. Whoever designed this is designing this for multiplayer.
Well, as I said, this entire trailer feels like it's a multiplayer trailer.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
That's great, guys, but how much money did it make us?
It's not.
I mean, it's not making us a freaking penny.
Well,
From the
fire
Then
a
again,
kid,
then again,
get a
it's
new
not
producer
costing
in
us a
here.
penny either
Yeah,
because none of us are going to be playing it at launch, or if ever, because
I'm not even gonna buy it.
yeah,
It's terrible.
I mean,
Okay, get a different research company involved then. 'Cause
What?
Whatever company
Well, okay,
gave us
first of
our
all,
marketing.
it's okay that there's Marines, but why are they
What if it's
fucking
a
running
friend?
around in just their skivvies?
I was about to say, so someone sent me a screenshot of that earlier today, and I
Somebody
go,
fire Cam, he's asking too many questions.
yeah, are you just playing?
This is Tartarus. Oh no, I'm sorry. I read that wrong.
No, so
That's
Cam,
Tartarus. I'm like, what
so
the fuck?
hold on, I'm pausing it. I'm just gonna go back to the freaking the Marines and Siffies.
Uh-huh.
So, someone sent me a screenshot of that today,
Let's not make this about your fetishes, okay?
and they sent me a screenshot. I'm like, what the hell are those civilians? What the fuck are civilians doing on the ring? And
But,
he
like,
goes,
it
no,
looks like,
it's...
It looks like they're soldiers, just they're wearing literally...
Well, the screenshot was very blurry, and it just... all I saw was a guy in a t-shirt at the gun. And I'm like, civilians? Like, in Halo 3, it made sense. First off, there were no vehicles in that level.
Or, like,
in Reach 2, but also in Halo 3, you actually have civilians...
I really hate those little grappling, these little things you can then throw. Like, that just feels so fucking convoluted.
Yeah, but the in Halo 3 specifically, you had civilians armed fighting alongside you, because it was essentially just reusing...
No, you know what it is. Oh... You know what it is.
But that was because they were construction workers that were literally like, oh crap, the Covenant are here. Anyone who can fight, grab a gun. Anyone who can't fight, go run to the evacs.
No, I just realized...
That's how it was in Halo 3. I don't know what's going on here.
Sense. Look at this. Look at what we're seeing here. Like you said, multiplayer trailer. This is quite literally the trailer for them making Halo into Battlefield. Look at it from that perspective, and it all makes sense.
I just hate the editing. Because I want to say...
I'm American. You can't tell me a perspective I have to look at. Damn it.
Shut up, 343 exec. No, I'm kidding. No,
But
like this whole...
The way this entire... All of the gameplay I am seeing is that this is quite literally them turning this into Battlefield.
Order received.
With
and it's not even
map, the way you're selecting vehicles, all this shit.
And it's not even Battlefield's campaign; it's Battlefield multiplayer.
Yeah, it's Battlefield multiplayer.
Because remember, Battlefield used to have some kick-ass campaigns.
Battlefield used to have a campaign.
Right now it doesn't.
Well, yeah, I will say this though.
The banished are hunting master
taking a step back and looking at the bigger picture, you know, Star Citizen's doing the same thing with Squadron 42. It's an introduction to multiplayer.
I mean, to a degree, yes, but at the same point, I don't feel like, at least with what we're seeing so far, I don't think they're going to be sacrificing the story simply
or the gameplay
to sell the multiplayer. They're going they're going full tilt for both.
Yeah. Also, the fact that the difference here is Halo is a pre-established franchise that has been in existence for 20 years now. Actually, it will be 20 years on November 15th. And every game has been campaign.
Then Citizen's going on what, like 8-10 years now?
Yes, but none of it. It's never released a game, and it's been working on the same 2 games since then. But with Halo specifically, with the exception of Halo 4 and Halo 5, which is potentially when 343 took over, every Halo game was campaign with multiplayer secondary.
Yeah.
And that's the primary part of the game, and then you had the multiplayer.
Nowadays, now as we're seeing, even games that have had a story that they're trying to tell, even if the story was bad, are completely sacrificing it in favor of gotta get that multiplayer loot box money.
Yep, and also
that's basically been the production of.
Yeah, it's pretty much the last decade plus of gaming. Yeah, unfortunately. Also, the fact that a lot of what the difference here also is, even with like a Call of Duty or a Battlefield campaign, like, yeah, you know, obviously the stories weren't exactly great, but you weren't playing it like most of the time. You probably weren't playing those campaigns for the story, but rather the set pieces and the levels and like the unique encounters and pretty much the unique gameplay that the campaigns offered that the multiplayer didn't. And Halo had the same thing. Obviously, yes, they all had a story to them as well. Halo more so than I think Battlefield and Call of Duty, but there was still a story there, as well as these unique set pieces and action scenes and gameplay segments that you wouldn't have in the multiplayer. And
have you guys
that's when they prioritized the campaign.
Have you guys ever heard of a game called Section 8? It's an old game.
No, but I instantly want to play it just because I already have an idea of how crazy it is.
You don't.
Oh.
This is what I was really thinking of when I was seeing what we're seeing here, because to me, it literally, for looking at it from a perspective of the multiplayer experience, or at least one of the large aspects of the multiplayer they're aiming for, is a more Battlefield-like experience as opposed to the more generic arena FPS kind of gameplay that we've had before with Halo. Looking at it from that perspective, the campaign literally just looks like a test bed for them to piece together the objectives and the different mechanics that we use in the multiplayer.
For different game modes like capture the flag, oddball.
It felt very much like just given how they were styling the map, given how Chief was running around and doing things, it felt very much like you were a single player in a multiplayer map doing objectives for.
Oh my god! If you go
like
to the
capture the flag or the Battlefield style, what do they call it? Where like you like destroy an objective and then you move forward or get pushed back.
I don't remember what it's called.
Capture the flag.
Essentially, but the reason I bring up this game, Section 8, was that was the first game I really experienced where that was what it was, like all the gameplay media looked great. And bear in mind, this was back in the Xbox 360 days, to where you still didn't have this huge online presence and knowing a lot of this stuff even before the game came out. But all the game stuff looked great. I was like, oh, this looks cool as shit. And their gimmick was that when you would be deployed in missions, both in the single player and on the multiplayer, you were getting dropped from orbit. It was like every single time you spawn in, you were an ODST going down in a drop pod.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, this is cool as shit. The combat mechanics were decent and stuff. But I go and play the campaign, and it was literally just the multiplayer maps with some very generic AI following you through to prepare you for playing the multiplayer. And that is exactly what this feels like. I literally get no actual campaign. Like, sure, they've got a few cinematics here, some scripted stuff there, but it literally just feels like they took the multiplayer map, changed up a few little details, threw in some cinematics, and said, "Ta-da! Campaign, give us money."
Yeah, by the way, Cam, if you go to the 450-minute mark, they literally recreate the Battlefield 2042 trailer, where the guy jumps out of the jet and takes a rocket launcher and blows up another jet. Does the same exact thing. Jumps out of a Banshee, takes a brute rocket launcher.
It's supposed to stand on its own feet, and here we are. It literally just feels like it's some fucking hollowed out.
It's infuriating because you obviously I didn't believe them, and I'm glad that I didn't, because it probably would have been a bit. I'd be even more angry if I did. But 343 was like, oh, we're not gonna stop following trends. We're gonna bring spiritual reboot, right? It's gonna be Halo CE, but in modern day or whatever, and all we're getting is just more of the same from 343. More trend following. We've been seeing it for the last year, 2 years, for the last several years now, and it's just each time we see it, it's more and more obvious.
Yeah. Well, also, I think you got. I'm just going to throw in my 2 cents. I'm not familiar with all the different studios in this in the Halo line and all that, but one thing I have noticed is that I think we're also we've crossed the line from, as an industry in general, from what they used to put out, which you guys were already talking about, which is campaigns. And then if you had the network hookup, you could get into multiplayer. I think it's just recently in the last 10 years that the industry has finally changed its mindset that essentially internet is, every single person has internet. And I think that's partially why they have gone away from those campaign games, and we're seeing all the games basically essentially go to online multiplayer, because it's now taken for granted that essentially that is the environment that everyone's going to play in. And I think what's happened is that a lot of the companies still like that's the new paradigm for them. So they're still just like, hey, how do we put out, like you were saying, Cam, how do we put out another Battlefield? Because that's what's been successful. They still haven't learned that they're gonna need, if everyone's gonna be online and everything's gonna be in a multiplayer, you're gonna have to have different types of multiplayer gameplay. And so that's why we're just seeing everything looks the same right now. And eventually somebody's going to break out and go, we got a different play style that's going to set us apart and be unique in multiplayer. But we just haven't gotten there
Except that, so I've played a little bit of Halo Infinite from, I personally never got I got access to the flight, but never actually got to get into the flight because they still have a GTX 900 and 1000 series and the AMD equivalent GPU glitch where anyone using those cards, you will not be able to run the game because the game will not even load up. Essentially, you'll load the game up, you'll hear maybe 2 seconds of music, maybe if you're lucky you'll see a visual of the menu, and then this game will just crash. And this is a consistent 100% bug that happens every time. And so I had to play on my brother's machine as well as my Xbox One to play the flight, and it feels a lot like Halo 5. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because Halo 5 had some good gameplay, but it's not Halo gameplay. Because it didn't have that Halo feel. It feels like a very different game from Halo, but it is a fun game on its own. And that's what Halo. So it's not even, you're not even getting like that original, it's this, it's just, because, by the way, no, Cam, I don't think that Battlefield's the right example. I think in the marketing, yes, but from what I've seen in this trailer, I would say Destiny is a better comparison.
Yeah, but it definitely does not feel in any way, shape, or form like they're actually writing a story. Instead, it feels like, or rather, I feel like they got a writer. The writer did decent job going, hey, here's point A, B, C, D, etc. of the story, and then the actual guys were like, okay, we're going to go and make the content now to go and make this. That 8 out of 10 of them were working on the multiplayer shit, and the other 2 of them were like, okay, we'll take this multiplayer map, we'll adjust this here, we'll add this cutscene here, and it's definitely feeling like, just from what I'm seeing here, and this is just my first impressions. I could be entirely barking up the wrong tree here, but the impressions I'm getting is that the campaign is a fucking afterthought for their marketing
it totally
of the
is.
multiplayer.
I mean,
and honestly, it's fucking sad to see yet another franchise being run into the ground like a fucking downed airplane because gotta get, and it's like, there's nothing wrong with going, hey, we want to make money. Of course, that's every single business. At the same point, and maybe it's naive of me to say this, but I feel that there's a way to do that without simply going loot box fucking crazy.
This feels like a looter shooter. Like the menus and the customization stuff. That's why I say Destiny, because you look at the map, right? You look at the UI for the map. You look at the UI for the customization. You look at the health bars on top of the enemies and the UI on your HUD. It's very much like Destiny. And Destiny, I've only played Destiny 1 and very little of it. But I mean, it's a fine game. It just, it wasn't fun enough for me to keep coming back to it. It didn't help that I really didn't know or care about the story. Story is a big thing for me in like a story-driven game. But again, it's just like, it's a looter shooter, and I'm not a huge fan of looter shooters. And this is just, again, it's more the same. It's stuff we've seen in the industry, not in Halo, but in the industry for the last 10 plus years that we're all sick of. We're sick of the egregious predatory monetization, also,
like, of course, you're trying to make money. We as customers understand that a business is trying to make money, but at the same point, it literally just feels like it's gone from, oh, hey, we're professionals making a product to, oh, give us money.
I mean, it just, you see the leaked battle pass I sent you for season 1 of Halo Infinite?
Nope.
So in it, let me actually get it on screen. But in it, you have all the items in the first season of their battle pass, and what's going to be monetized and what's not going to be monetized. And they have a thing called reroll, and I could just be an idiot and not know what they mean by that, but it seems very much like they're going to have loot boxes or some sort of equivalent. And they said that they weren't going to do that, but then again, they also have no means of earning XP in the game other than through challenges. That's done purposefully, so this way they essentially can blockade you from earning XP too quickly.
Yep.
Sorry, just trying to load up. Huh. I guess that the link isn't good anymore?
Free, I say.
Let's try a different method. Oh. Huh. What about the other one? Okay, this one still works. Alright, so yeah, you got all the armor, so you're not going to have any visuals unfortunately here, but you're going to have the entire battle pass, and it shows you how pretty much everything in the battle pass is monetized. Everything. And most of it is armor, like actual armor, which they said they weren't, which they said you can earn through game. So
Will I get...
Yeah, pretty much. Don't be surprised at this point. But and again, like they're monetizing colors for your armor coatings, essentially just color for your armor. I've already went on a rant on how they should have done armor coatings when we did our I guess our video on the whole no campaign and no forge on release. But that's another thing too, is campaign itself is launching incomplete. You know, if Cam and I were to be getting this game on launch, which we're not, we would not be able to play together on day one.
Because, hey, fuck you.
Like, ideally, you know, assuming the story was good, I would give it a shot and say, hey, Cam, hey, Coolios, and call sign if you wanted to get in on this, you know, let's do some campaign co-op together, but, because I ain't touching the multiplayer with a 10-foot pole. First off, the second they said free to play, I was done with multiplayer for Halo Infinite. No, I'm not doing that. Like, they literally have XP booths. You can literally buy XP booths for, I'm going to assume, at least $1. And they're selling emblems, they're going to sell you vehicle paints, they're going to sell you vehicle models in the game. They're going to sell you fucking background art for your customization menus and shit. It's absurd. It's absurd. And of course, we all know why that is. Also, I noticed that I have this. Apologize. It's annoying too, because we know why they're doing all this. We know why they're going with the more flashy, colorful look. Like, look, visually it looks great, but like the explosion and particle effects don't really look great. And it's all 343's attempt to become more popular to the younger audience, as Callsign put it. You know, they're trying to get the new blood in. And they're trying
they don't give a fuck about the old blood. They already got your money. Get the fuck out.
Yeah, they're trying to go for that more contemporary art style so that they can then ultra colorful, flashy special effects. So that this way they can make it more marketable to the audience that plays the AAA free-to-play games. You know, your Fortnites and Apex Legends and what have you. All these free-to-play games. And I say free-to-play because they are not free, because they monetize you and nickel and dime you every second of your play.
Yep. And that's modern gaming, unfortunately.
unfortunate too. Like, again, this was like Halo always has. Look, they are bringing Halo back to its original, original art style, the classic art style. In terms of like how it looks, but I don't know. It's just it.
I don't. It's like I don't give a fuck about graphics really.
Yeah, but
I
exactly at
care
this
about
point, like
gameplay.
if the gameplay, I'm more concerned about the story at this point because I know the gameplay is just going to be kind of Halo 5 again. Which, you know what? If the story is good enough, I won't care. Like if it's really, really good. But if the story is just going to be mediocre or whatever, then yeah.
Oh, it is. It's gonna be so mediocre.
Like, I mean, they're going like they're showing spectacles like cinematics and stuff in the trailer, which is fine. Again, whoever edited this trailer, it's feels very slow, even though they're showing a lot of high speed action scenes. If that makes any sense. Also, I know call sign left because we're still talking about Halo. I figured this would be a longer topic. But yeah, it's like here. I didn't watch all of it with audio, so I'm gonna.
Against impossible odds.
It's like freaking narration. It sounds like to replace what's face Jen Taylor's voice with Jeff Stizer, right? The voice of Halo, the guy who's the announcer in multiplayer, saying the same stuff, like
Yeah, it literally feels like
it would be
it's
just be a multiplayer trailer.
Yeah.
You're safe.
It really it does not feel to me. It does not feel like Halo in any way, shape, or form.
But
It just feels like they're taking all these aspects from other
graphically,
games.
Sure, but gameplay wise and content wise, it feels entirely like they're just making a open
now
world,
have more freedom than ever
objective
before.
based multiplayer shooter.
You know what it is? It's like
That's
Spartan Ops, but on a bigger scale.
Yeah. No,
And
literally.
Spartan Ops, you know what? The worst part about Spartan Ops was how much it hurt because it was such a great idea that was executed horribly.
Yeah.
Like Spartan Ops could have been
But
essentially a Halo Reach style
the
campaign.
problem is 343 has shown yet again that they don't know what made Halo Halo.
No.
They don't care what made Halo Halo. They're the conductors of this train now, and by God, they'll run it into the ground if it's the last fucking thing they do.
They're on a
And as long as they get their bags of money and jump off the train before that, they're okay. Screw the passengers, screw the people who were conducting it originally, fuck them all.
train's going full speed into a dead end brick wall.
That's what it feels like.
Take down the banished any way they
But it's like I see this map in the UI Destiny. I see the
I mean,
Like,
it
look at the
feels entirely
shield.
multiplayer.
yeah.
To
Also, look at the. This is probably just a nitpick of mine. Like this is what I'm talking about with the flashy, colorful particle effects here, or like plasma effects look like freaking water. Like look at this Bruce shield effects. Like at first I thought this was just a UI highlight, so you know where he is at all times, like Destiny or something. But that's actually his shield effects. It used to be like this.
players now
Oh, and then
violent,
the
energetic-
the grappling hook entirely, like why is this even a thing?
Because Doom Eternal.
The way you're picking up objects and then like, oh, hey, I'm holding it in my hand now and I'm gonna throw it.
Shut it down.
Ugh.
I don't understand what, like, a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot of people in the Halo community, but a lot of the Halo YouTubers in the Halo community, like your Hidden Xperias and what have you, like, whenever they see, oh, look, he's throwing a fusion coil. Remember those little things that you, so much as, like, they're like Pintos, but they weren't on wheels? That you touch them and then they blow up? And you shoot them, they blow up. So they're essentially that, but now you can throw it and kill people with it. It's like, and they're losing their minds over it, like it's the best thing ever, because it's never been in a Halo game before. But it's like...
Oh, like, I read through some of the comments on the movie, and I see a lot of people going, oh, it looks amazing, and I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, sure, it might be, visually, it might be closer to original style, but gameplay-wise, it's fucking trash. But maybe that's my grouchy old man shit.
I just do not. I know this is probably a nitpick, and other people just probably don't care or disagree, and that's fine. That's your prerogative. But like the whole look at that shield effect for the brute, like for the energy shield for the brutes. It just looks horrible. And Chiefs isn't any better because that's with all the freaking hexagons that we complained about during the original campaign showcase. Coolios and I were bitching about it, like how what the fuck all the hexagons. Like the elites here have the best looking shields so far in the game.
Do you see that? Could be useful, if you like that kind of thing.
And the Cortana narration right now is reminding me a lot of the ghosts from Destiny. Remember those little like Rubik's Cube floating things?
I never played Destiny.
Halo Infinite allows us all to become Master Chief, doing what Spartans do best.
You know, Destiny. You got Battlefield 2042 here. I see the meat hook, or sorry, the grapple shot from Doom Eternal.
Master Chief will take on returning favorites.
I just listed 3 different games.
And support.
But as you said, they're definitely trying to go and grab the all the kids from the current generation. Which, and I mean, I can understand that. In that they're like, oh, we need more money, but
If he looks
Angry.
and something
I don't know.
even more
Maybe it's just because it's not the way that, you know, if I was in charge of things that I would have taken Halo. It's completely in like the opposite direction I would have ever wanted to do this go.
It's just like,
But
Spartan.
I don't know. It just feels entirely convoluted and
it feels maybe the trailer isn't the best. Again, the trailer is edited horribly. I feel like that definitely is not helping its case. And I'm saying that because I'm fully willing to go. Okay, you know what? I'm still willing to give the story a shot. This trailer sucks, but
well, one thing to bear in mind too, and bear in mind that they, I would say very noticeably made no reference to this, but they've cut the multiplayer away from the single player specifically, so they can sell the multiplayer loot boxes and shit to a wider audience. Therefore, the amount you are paying for the single player, because again, you are now getting solely the single player for your $60. But in that case, I am now paying more for this product because usually it includes a multiplayer. Now it does not. What addition am I getting to my content? And if anything, it looks like we are losing even more content because it literally, and like I said, with some of this shit, it literally just looked like a copy paste of multiplayer maps and objectives and stuff. Like I can, with what I saw there, I can all but guarantee you they're going to have some kind of a battlefield-like objective-based destroy these towers while the enemy team defends them kind of shit. Or something along the lines, and you're gonna have people, you know, grappling up and throwing their little glowy canisters at there. I can mark
well, actually, no,
words.
Cam, you're not, because there's no co-op for another 3 months after the game launches.
No, I'm not talking co-op. I'm talking a multiplayer objective based. Yeah, I'm talking, like I said, Battlefield. Battlefield with the objectives, and that, oh, one team has to do, like if you remember, there was those towers that Chief looked at from a cliff, and then it showed him getting close, and he grappled up a little glowy canister and threw it at him.
Yeah.
Mark my words, you're going to go and have a map that it's going to be probably like 16 versus 16. One team for one of the objectives. One team is defending those exact same towers. Another team is attacking them. Mark my fucking words, it's gonna happen.
Oh, I'm not doubting you. We're pretty much of the same mind here. It's absurd. And anyone
honestly, it's
frustrating, and it's unfortunately
what
sad.
I hate too,
It's
and
sad.
I would say that's maybe even the insult to the injury, is that you go and point some of this shit out that, hey, this is not at all like what has been done before, and them going and saying, "Oh, we're taking Halo back to its roots." No, the fuck you aren't. Not even close.
No,
Not in
you're
any way,
just
shape, or form. You are entirely abandoning and spitting on the roots of Halo. And
it. You know what this
the
is? This is
fact
pretty much
that
Halo
they even
5.
say that just shows them gaslighting.
It's pretty much Halo 5 with a classic Halo coat of paint, and
And a worse story.
sort of with a well, we don't know that quite yet, but
Mark
I'm
my
willing to.
words. I would.
I don't know. Halo 5 story
what
was
I'm
pretty bad.
seeing
Is what I'm
here-
getting at.
At what I'm seeing here, bear in mind, and I'm open-minded to say that I could be entirely wrong here. I could be barking up the wrong tree, and I'm going to eat my words. But with what I'm seeing here, this is the death of the Halo storyline. Of Halo as having a actual unified cohesive lore, an actual cohesive story to it, in as much as it's ever been cohesive. This is the death of it. After
This,
this,
honestly-
you're only going to see Destiny level mini packs and all this stuff that's just made to go and get all the Fortnite kids to spend their money. That's all we're
So
gonna see
no,
from here
it
on out.
totally is, and this is the thing. I've been talking with a lot of people in a lot of Halo fans lately across various discords, and they're all saying kind of the same thing we are. In that, like, some people are really like, if this game, if the story or whatever this game is bad, they're done with Halo. Like similarly, how I'm done with Star Wars. Like, it's dead.
Honestly, the best thing in my opinion that could possibly happen to Halo right now would be for 343 to go under, sell it back to Microsoft, and get some people who actually work.
Well, it's
on
still
it
owned by
before.
Microsoft. 343 are
Is
a
it?
studio Microsoft made.
Okay, well, just kick out whoever the fuck's making these stupid ass decisions.
Honestly, the
Someone
best
else
case
there.
scenario would be either they hire all the original Bungie guys, which honestly most of them kind of hate each other from what I've heard now. It's like that's never going to happen. This is
And that's damn fucking sad. Isn't it?
and yeah, thanks to I think some things with Destiny I've heard, but it's either get those guys, which is never going to happen, or clean house and get like a whole new studio
Go
or
hire
something.
the fucking Rooster Teeth guys.
Well, they
They'd probably
probably
do a
don't have any
fucking better
game
job.
development.
Oh no, but they'd still probably do a better job.
A better story, I mean? Honestly, I haven't watched any Red vs.
Shit,
Blue in
they'd
years.
probably end up making better games. And it's like, and also too, it's like being under I should know. I don't know how Microsoft as a company runs their games division, and it could very easily change from how it was 5 years ago to how it is now to how it is another 5 years in the future. Whatever. That being said, I would hope to some degree that Microsoft would be willing to be like, hey, let's say Halo as a franchise is making us money because, sorry, rather, Halo as a franchise might not be making us money. However, we're okay with that because it's getting us good PR. And so even though we might be, close to breaking even in terms of how much we're spending versus how much we're making off of it, we'll take the good PR it generates us for all the people who have played that and let it keep going as it is. Now, bearing in mind that us old gamers who, us old foggies who grew up playing Halo, and how many people are who grew up playing Halo are no longer playing video games at all, right? But as a demographic, of course, we're dying out. We're a dying breed. We're going extinct, sure, but fuck, man, it's just sad to see.
Yeah, I'm seeing like all these big name, like late night gaming, all these big name Halo channels on YouTube. It looks like Halo that we all dreamt about as kids. The art, the
I
music,
don't care what
like
it fucking looks like.
I
Good
mean,
gameplay.
like look, Gold Line, Silver Line, Chief does look really good.
Sure.
But
I don't care how he looks.
But exactly, it's like,
Looks.
yeah, new coat of paint on the same piece of crap is still going to be a piece of crap.
Yep.
Here, this is one. This kind of. Oh, he's saying this kind of feels what Destiny's campaigns should have been. How do you know the campaign isn't out yet? You haven't played.
No, just from what they're saying.
But like honestly, it does look a lot like Destiny. That and the trailer was specifically trying to recreate Battlefield. Again, it's just 343 doing what 343 does best. That being
Copying
following trends and copying other games.
And like I said, it's a damn fucking shame. Because it's yet another really great franchise that is being thrown under and tossed to the wolves because it ain't making enough fucking money. And like I said, I understand as a business, the end goal is make money. But it used to be, and maybe this is my old man showing, but it used to be that you could make a good product and make money. And maybe that's just no longer the case. I don't know. But
You know what? I'm doing this real quick. Going to my freaking YouTube channel. And I'm going to put on some ODST gameplay just so that we can see what Halo used to be.
you mean back in the good old days?
Back in the good old days. Like hell, even one of the more recent games. Let's put on the Halo 2 Anniversary, which is actually really good. Like even the multiplayer is good. Granted, it still has some of that 343 design elements, but the gameplay itself is just Halo 2. And this, like it's still Halo. Like it felt really good to play. I mean, some people may disagree with me, and that's fine. We don't all have to agree on everything, but something, and we mentioned earlier in the show, art is subjective, but art is also objective. It is, it's both. It's part, like, I don't know how else to explain it. It can be both. But you can see, like, look how the energy shields look here. Like, they don't look like freaking hexagons or like that hologram, like, CRT screen texture, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like a bunch of horizontal lines separating the light.
Yeah,
it looks like like an old-fashioned like 70s hologram, sci-fi hologram. I don't know, the new Halo. Again, I'm getting Destiny and Battlefield vibes from it, and as I said, it looks like a multiplayer trailer, but it's for the campaign. Now the gameplay we saw, sure, it looks great. It doesn't give me a feel for how the campaign will play though. Like sometimes when you watch like a trailer for a game, like you get a feel for how it'll actually play.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting that for freaking Cyberpunk even back like during the latter half of its marketing, and I'd say it's semi-accurate. The game obviously released completely half-baked and broken, but different topic for a different day. This Halo Infinite, I didn't get a feel for anything. It looked like exactly what we predicted it to be months ago.
Yep.
Just and they're totally prioritizing the campaign because that's what matters. Remember the EA CEO of EA, Andrew Wilson, was going on how like, oh, nobody plays single player games anymore, or single player games don't sell, or something along those lines. And then Battlefield 5, that was their Battlefield 5 didn't do well in sales because it was a politically correct, woke World War II shooter, claiming to be a realistic World War II shooter, where you had British Royal Amputee female commandos, which was not a thing.
And people were just like,
And that was in the reveal trailer for that game. people reacted negatively, rightfully so, to it because you're retconning World War II, and that's never ever a good thing. And then they came out. I think it was Andrew Wilson said that if you don't like it, don't buy it, or something like that. If you don't like my game, don't buy it. Or if you don't like the game, don't buy it. And then people like, okay, and they didn't buy it, and then they blamed the game's success or the game's failure on single player games because it had a single player campaign, and EA, being EA, clearly like, oh, well, people probably don't play single players anymore. That's why. Totally wasn't something we said.
Could it be? Well, and as we've seen so many times before, you have a lot of businesses who will very obviously put their fucking foot in their mouth. And
Multiple
then
times.
when they're called out, hey, you've got your foot in your fucking mouth there, buddy. We'll backtrack and go, that's what the fuck we do. And it's like, yeah, you do.
So, some guy, one of the Discord servers I'm in, some guy going, not gonna lie, the Gravity Hammer and Infinite Steel disappoints me. Like, again, everyone's just underwhelmed by this trailer. At least within the Halo, at least the sections of the Halo community that I'm in, Discord-wise. And honestly, I can't blame them. It's not... Look, I'm willing to give... If the story is good, because again, if we ever do a playthrough or anything on the channel, and that's a big if, but if we do, it will not be for another year. And it's not just because, that's when whatever aspect of the game comes out. No, it's because that's when we'll know about all the monetization bullshit. That's when we'll know about all the behind-the-scenes crap. That's when we'll know... At least, and that's when the game will be at least semi-complete enough for us to play together. Because as it stands right now, Cam and I wouldn't be able to play the campaign together for another 5 months from now.
Yep.
Like, from right now, another 5 months. At least. Probably more. And that's and I don't even know, and I could be wrong, but I don't even know if Halo Infinite has 4-player co-op, which means it may only be you and I, or me and Kulios. We won't be able to play all 4 of us. So me, Kulios, can get data or call sign. It won't be the 3 of us, at least. That sucks. And I've played almost every Halo, with the exception of Halo 5, because Halo 5 doesn't have split-screen co-op. It only had online co-op. So I couldn't play with anyone because I didn't have anyone to play with who also had an Xbox One. That was the first Halo game that, for the first time playing the campaign, I played solo. Normally, every time I play a Halo game for the first time, it's co-op. Because that's how I feel Halo should be. Play with your friends and goof around.
Yeah.
And
I still remember going through and playing Halo 3, starting off in that fucking forest with Chief, and it's like you got Chief, Arbiter, and a couple
and
other
2 other elites, yeah.
Elites there running through the forest, ripping through the enemy. That's how, in my opinion, it should be.
Yeah.
I'm just showing my old age. I'm just an old fuddy-duddy here.
You and me both. But it's like, yeah, the whole... obviously, Halo 3 was the first one to have 4-player co-op, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I played Halo 3, I didn't have it. I played it at my friend's cousin's. And yeah, it's like, okay, it was him, it was his older brother, my friend, and me, and we all 4 were playing Halo 3. Obviously my friend's cousin's older brother, he was playing, Chief. My cousin got to play as Arbiter somehow, and I was playing as one of the elites, but again, it didn't matter because it was so much damn fun. We were playing, goofing off together.
Whoa! You want fun? Get the fuck out! And
that's just even Halo CE. You play just 2 people. But I don't know, it's just sad that we can't have that now.
It is. No, it really is. And like I said, I'm not surprised.
No,
I'm disappointed.
yeah, exactly. That's why I say like I'm sad because I can't do this, and we knew this was going to happen. Again, this is just Halo 5 all over again with Halo 5 releasing incomplete. It took I think until 2017 for Halo 5 to be finished.
Yep.
The game launched October 27th, 2015. That's 2 years or almost 2 years later. I don't remember when specifically in 2017. So you have to forgive me on that, but I think it may have been like May or something. But it was close to 2 years. I'd say a year and a half maybe. So we're looking at 1 to 2 years after December 8th for Halo Infinite to be complete. Because again, they're using the live service title as a means to push an unfinished product and then add in additional content, quote unquote, which is really just content that should have been in the game on launch, but it was cut out or just wasn't finished because they're prematurely releasing the game and then adding it in later. Hopefully not monetizing it.
Oh, don't you worry. That
and here's my fear with the campaign, because again, all I care about at this point for Halo Infinite is the campaign. And my fear is we get the campaign and it's unfinished. We get a Deus Ex Mankind Divided situation where it ends on a really shitty cliffhanger because they planned on making a sequel or DLC to monetize, but didn't. But in this case, they probably will.
Fully assuming.
So
at this point, I am fully assuming that at the end of the story,
mm-hmm.
and I use that term generously, at the end of the story, we are likely to. Honestly, you know what's gonna fucking happen. I'll spoil the ending here, and this is just me talking out my ass, but you're going to have Chief Arbiter and a bunch of other Spartan 5s and so-called tough guys stuck on some kind of Forerunner platform run by AI, not Cortana. It won't be Cortana in this case. But they're going to be stuck on some Forerunner platform run by an AI where they're just made to fight each other over and over at endless battles and then get revived and fight again so they can go into a battle royale. Hold it fucking here for
it's bad enough that they put battle royale in freaking Fallout.
But I mean, they literally have no. It's literally just the classic example that I've trotted out on these podcasts before many times over of the bureaucrats getting in charge of franchises that people.
It's the creatively bankrupt being in charge of something that's creative.
Yeah.
Or trying to be creative.
They have no idea, even if they wanted to try to make something genuine. They don't have the first fucking clue how to do it. It's literally another fucking language to them.
And here's the thing, by the way, like, we already know with the Battle Pass, like, based on other games, right? So in other games, you see something that's like 100 in-game points, 100 usually $1. So you see 1,800, that's $18. And so from what I noticed in my time with the flight, a very limited time, I should mention, but I did see videos and stuff afterwards that showed off like the Battle Pass, and they had XP boost for 100 credits. So, assuming based on track record, at least based on frame of reference of other games and how they do it, that's $1 for freaking XP boost that has like a time limit of 30 minutes or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
We're getting 900 credits for a bundle of weapon skins, $9. Like, others, helmet in the Battle Pass I think was like 700, so like $7.
And what I would say too is the worst of it is that, as we've seen with Star Citizen, when you make something and can show, hey, what we're making has quality to it, we're actually going and trying to not be creatively bankrupt here, but to actually put dare I say it, a soul into the creation we are making here, or we're actually trying to create something genuine. It's going to take time, but hey, we're in it for the long haul if you guys are. People will literally go and throw money at you. Literally. It's like, so it's like, I think Star Citizen is, at least at this point, clearly showing that you have people who want good content. Just companies don't want to make that because that takes work. And instead, why go for a long haul project to where you can make money and make the community happy, when instead we could go and just do this short-term bullshit, make our cash and run away with it, laughing all the way to the bank and fuck everyone else.
And also, like, again, the whole battle pass thing itself bothers me because it's designed to roadblock players by forcing you to waste your points that you that we now know are going to be difficult to earn. Like, look, the points are hard enough to earn in freaking Master Chief Collection, but now in Infinite, where you're going to have actual monetization, okay, so, and there's no XP earning through just playing matches and getting, you earned a triple kill in this match, or you earned a kill.
You'll earn double XP.
Right, like you earned a double kill, like 2 double kills and like a kill-tacular and whatever. Like, then you're gonna get extra XP for this match. No, the only way to get XP in Halo Infinite is to complete challenges, which again is a way to mitigate how much points players get.
And the worst part is, I can see this working. I know I'm giving them ideas with this, but fuck it, I guarantee they've already thought of it. Hey guys, Halo Infinite here. We're going and having an XP challenge weekend. So if you play during the weekend, not only will you earn 25% more XP just playing normally, but if you use our XP boosters, you'll earn 100% more XP. Woo woo!
It still doesn't.
You can't call it pay to win because I'm giving a token gesture to the guys who aren't paying anything.
Right, because you gotta get them hooked somehow. And
exactly. But
again,
and they go, how come you earned a whole item in that game? Well, I did pretty good, and I bought their little XP booster shit. Because that weekend, I'm now earning double XP. Woo woo!
Again, the battle passes themselves are just designed to be obstructive. They roadblock you so that you needlessly spend points on trivial items that you're never going to use or don't want or need. Like nameplates and stuff. Also that you can get that one item in, like, the third tab of the battle pass when that's the only thing you want, but you had to waste points on 3 whole tabs in order to get it. And it's all so that they force you to use the monetization and spend that $7 or whatever to get that thing instantly, as opposed to grinding it out.
I would say as it is for modern gaming, by which I mean, really would have started during the start of like the consoles and stuff, and going through to the golden years in terms of this era of gaming, starting with like the original Xbox, original PlayStation,
right,
going to the golden the peak of the Xbox 360 and PlayStation. What was it, 3 at that point?
It was PlayStation 2, Xbox, and then you had Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. Okay. I'm saying it in this order because those were PlayStation 2, I think, was better.
Yeah, they were kind of sort of staggered.
Yeah, because PlayStation 1 was in the 90s. So.
Yeah, but I would say, and again, I know, of course, gaming occurred before the consoles and all that kind of stuff. Not this kind of that, but in this era of gaming,
between before the console wars as we know it,
PlayStation 3. And after that, we were still kind of riding the high with the Xbox One, PlayStation 4, but it pretty quickly crested and has been zooming downhill like a roller coaster. And again, this is my old man, get off my, you stupid kids, sounding off here, but it seems to me like we're gaming as an industry, except for a few small holdouts, a few small indie companies, all of the large so-called AAA game companies are merely hollow husks of their former selves, and in terms of the content they now produce. Now, ideally, hopefully, maybe, if I dare to be optimistic here, maybe in the future that trend will reverse itself and actual good content and not just squeezing every single dollar out will be the name of the game. Maybe. But who knows? But it seems like by and large, except for a few holdouts here and there, and some not all, some indie companies, by and large, gaming has just become it's literally back during the days when Bethesda said, "Hey, we're gonna go and have monetized mods for Skyrim," and suddenly people are charging $60 for a single outfit and shit, and pretty quickly shut down. They're like, "Well, that went crazy. Well, let's go and make our own marketplace for mods. That way, no one else can challenge us for it." Ha ha. And the Creation Club was born.
Yeah. Again, it's kind of we're seeing the fall of giants, essentially.
Yeah. And that being said, I would love nothing more than, for example, Starfield. I would love nothing more than for that to actually be a well-designed, content-heavy game. How they're calling it, of Skyrim in space.
Right.
I would love nothing more than to be going and having some kind of a semi-open world where you're exploring around and going into all kinds of wrecked spaceships and abandoned facilities and pirate-held facilities, etc., etc. There's some factions that maybe you can team up with and will help you, and some that you can fight against or choose to go either way with them. Yada 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 yada. I would love nothing more than to see a well-written, content-heavy, player-driven game like that. However, just given the products Bethesda Game Studios has put out in the past decade or so, I fucking doubt it. I would love to be proven wrong. I would love nothing more than to have yet another game. I mean, there are a few games, at least for me, that I can go and just dig into and put hundreds, if not thousands, of hours. And I have over 1,000 hours in Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Skyrim, not Fallout 4. I've got only like 500 there, but God, the amount of work and modding you have to put into that to make that halfway decent. I'm getting close with my current mod playthrough, but I've got 570 mods or so in that. So take that how you will. Games like Minecraft, Space Engineers, games where you can, at least for me, just lose yourself in playing it and just enjoy yourself and have fun and keep coming back to it. Like when I was playing Fallout 3 heavily, and I probably had just on console alone, I probably had about at least 5 full playthroughs, and that's where I'm actually poking around everywhere in the map and exploring every nook and cranny. And I would still go and find places and be like, "Whoa, hey, this has always been here? How did that can have always been here? How did I never go and see that little thing tucked away?" Mechanic. I remember probably it was like my 3rd full playthrough, and by full I mean like from beginning to end, poking into all the different areas and content and stuff. And I remember looking into a toilet in some like raider held area, and in the tank of the toilet there were some microfusion cells that were set up to go in and zap you if you tried to get water from the bowl of it. The wires were going down into the bowl, and so if you touch it, you are now part of the circuit and you get zapped. And I was just like, whoa, wait a minute. They trapped the fucking toilets? That's hilarious. How did I never see this before? But that was the level of content and creativity that Bethesda was putting in, where the small details would matter. Or, again, Fallout 3. There were these little wooden boxes that would be on the shelves they put all over the fucking place, from office buildings to metros and all over, everywhere in between. If you were to go and use the grab key, which I forgot if that was either holding E or I think it was Z on the keyboard anyway. I forgot what it was on the controller. It may have been A. Either way, if you were to grab these boxes and pull them off the shelf, you would oftentimes find just stuff in them, whether it was a Braxo cleaner or tin cans or stim packs, ammunition, maybe a gun sometime, a small pistol or something. But I love just going, ooh, there's a box. What's in it? Because I knew there would almost always be something there. Some little thing for me to find, maybe some pencils or something. But you never knew what you were going to get. And those little details were just what made the game so enjoyable to go through. And which was heavily disappointing when I went through Fallout 4 and, oh, look, there's wooden boxes everywhere. I remember those. And nothing in them. Can't be bothered to do that. That takes time, and time is money. Anyway, rant over. Well, I'm stepping off my old man.
No, good, because my rant is back on Halo, though. Like the Halo Infinite, yeah. Speaking of money, they clearly are going for, as you put it, as we both put it, it's clearly just felt like multiplayer, but they're saying it's campaign. And we know that they've been favoring the multiplayer ever since Halo Infinite was pretty much announced with, the live service, free-to-play bullshit. We knew prior to the game, we knew from the Halo Waypoint blogs, 343 industry videos, trailers, presentations at official functions like E3, Gamescoms, etc. It's evident and obvious that the multiplayer is 343's core focus and concern regarding Halo Infinite. The campaign is at best a side objective for them, and
it's at best about fourth or fifth, if not lower, on
and
their objective list.
Whereas the campaign used to be the big thing of Halo, and now 343 has been prioritizing its multiplayer more and more, and we keep seeing it more and more, and not just with the lead up to Halo Infinite, but in each of the games they've developed, Halo 4 and Halo 5 Guardians. Halo 4, it was still more of a co-op, campaign-focused game, and even having a cool concept.
They were trying to go and follow in the footsteps of
Halo Reach.
Clearly failed.
Yeah, and even had good concept that were just executed horribly, such as the multiplayer campaign of Spartan Ops, which, is like, here's a Halo Reach-style campaign where your multiplayer Spartan is your player character in this campaign, but obviously it was not tied to the main campaign of the game. It was like a sequel campaign. It was a cool idea. It just wasn't done well. Wasn't done well. And Halo 5, I've only played the campaign once and regret it instantly. The multiplayer was clearly where all attention went to. And again, the only redeeming factor of that entire game is the custom games because of how great the Forge is. And obviously the fact that loot boxes were the sole source of progression in Halo 5 was not help. But again, the whole multiplayer over campaign to me is an insult. It's adding insult to injury. Because again, it was always campaign then multiplayer, but now every game is the opposite. Even Call of Duty's and Battlefield's even foregoing the campaign entirely, which Call of Duty did a few years ago, and that didn't go well. And again, it's all because they want to have the free-to-play multiplayer and live service BS, because it's...
And also, too, and I understand what the companies mean when they go live service, and on the face of it, as with, for example, not to get too political here, but on the face of it, communism is a great thing, right? Everyone gets their equal share. in implementation, hey, how come there's all these corpses everywhere? Weird, huh?
It's
I mean, I get what they're trying to do with a live service. However, every implementation of it that I've really seen ends up with, "Hey, we
name
released the
name a game
when it
that's
was
been around for
halfway through
10 years.
alpha." Well, it's like you literally release the game when it's in fucking alpha stage, when you have core functionality, and for those, so words like alpha, beta get thrown around a lot in gaming and with a lot of other stuff, but to actually go and define these for those who don't know, the actual definition for like alpha and beta is that a alpha, so if I have a program, and games are essentially just a program, a complicated one, but program nonetheless. If I have a piece of software, if it is missing core functionality, so for example,
Co-op campaign or Forge.
I have, co-op campaign. It is a promised feature of this, a core functionality, and yet it is missing on launch. If it's just missing at all, that means your software is still in alpha state. It is missing core functionality. Beta is when you have core functionality in, however, you still have a lot of tuning and major bugs still in play and need to smooth those out. And then releases, well,
It's essentially you have a functional model, but it's not on par with the performance of your goal standard.
Exactly.
Of that model.
Is the standard model here, but as we're seeing with these live service games, in actuality, what it means is core functionality is not yet done. We're releasing anyway because we got to get that early money. Essentially, it's a multiplayer game, but we're releasing it early access so that you can go and buy up more of these delicious loot boxes so we can get more of that.
Or even if it's not loot boxes, just skins and stuff. And for anyone who says, well...
Still, whatever their microtransaction bullshit is.
Okay, I just want to say, for anyone who says, oh, but it's only cosmetic, it doesn't affect gameplay, bull fucking shit, pardon my French, but cosmetics affect gameplay. If you're playing a game, like if you're playing an RPG and you go out like, oh, this is a cool outfit, you're telling me that doesn't affect gameplay? You're going out of your way to do all this stuff in the game just to get that outfit. That affects gameplay. Cosmetics affect gameplay just because they don't have any game, like actual effect on the game itself in terms of mechanics and stuff. Doesn't mean they don't affect gameplay. The excuse is void.
I would say part of the problem with that idea is that it used to be that when the saying, oh, it's just cosmetics, really did come around, was when it's like, oh, hey, for example, well, I think it was, I want to say it was Gears of War, it was either, yeah, I want to say it was Gears of War 3, to where they had introduced Horde mode in Gears of War 2. Gears of War 3, they're like, hey, we still have Horde mode, but we've added, like, you can get weapon skins, and you can, like, swap character models and stuff. It was actually pretty interesting. And they're like, oh, hey, by the way, you can go and earn this stuff through, like, an XP style, ranking ladder, but if you so desire, you can go and also pay some microtransactions, and you can go and roll some different loot here. There you go. So it's like you can either grind it out, or you can go and buy it out. Your choice. But you were still like, oh, hey, you can unlock a good chunk of those models and stuff and skins by playing the campaign. You had a lot of stuff tied to campaign achievements and stuff like that. I played Gears of War 5 earlier. No, it was like mid last year because it was on Game Pass, that Xbox Game Pass, like PC Ultimate, whatever the fuck they call that for PC. But anyway,
the Ultimate,
that.
$15 a month.
Yeah, at that point it was like a buck.
Well, it's a buck for the first 3 months, and then it's $15 a month.
And I only had it for that initial.
Yeah, I've done that multiple times because just $1 for 3 months.
But so anyway, I went and I played it, and I was like, oh, hey, they've got Horde mode here. I loved playing Horde mode. It was a great co-op experience. Let's go and play that. and the balancing on it felt all kinds of off, and the unlocks for all of them purely just either grinding out horribly amounts of XP, or hey, you gotta buy those microtransactions, and you have all these different ways of paying with real cash to get this pack or that pack, or and I'm just like, what the fuck? But that is what passes for AAA gaming. Is we're going to go nickel and dime you as much as possible, deliver as little as possible, and don't give a fuck if you didn't enjoy your time.
Nope.
What
And
the fuck?
yeah, and back to Halo again. The whole thing where it's the multiplayer over campaign. It's a huge insult. It's essentially a screw you to the core and casual fan base of Halo. Because Halo's always had a campaign with a multiplayer. But Halo Infinite, I can't even say it's the other way around, because despite 343's attempts to explain otherwise, Halo Infinite's multiplayer is essentially a separate game entirely to that of the campaign.
No, they've already cut it out.
Yeah.
The fact that they've cut it out to make it free to play so that they specifically can go and nickel and dime everyone as much as possible with it, they themselves have made it a separate game.
But they have explained that it is not a separate game, despite it being exact opposite. It is a separate game. And sure, some of and the way they've gone about it's like, oh, campaign achievements will supposedly carry over and award you certain items in the multiplayer, but that doesn't mean anything. Like,
it means nothing.
I got I think the Mark 6 classic, or as classic as they made it look in Halo 5, but classic Mark 6 armor in Halo 5 by playing MCC back in 2014 when it first launched on the Xbox One. By the way, Master Chief Collection launched in, I think, November 2014. Still incomplete, still feature incomplete to this day.
Shh. Details.
And also, from what I understand, again, the whole XP system and earning XP through simply playing the game is gone. They want you to... And the only way to earn items for customization is through a specific challenges and your obstructive battle pass. And again, MCC was pretty much just a test bed for all their monetization. We said that a year plus ago.
Yep. And like I said, it's a damn fucking shame.
It's like how many things are so many things are not at launch with this game. It is literally a feature incomplete game. Again, yeah, it is essentially an alpha that you're playing. But however, all right, here's the best analogy. I use this a lot across all of our shows, and if you're sick of hearing it, I apologize, but it is necessary, and that is the bakery analogy. Live service games are essentially you going to a bakery, paying full price for a cake. Say the cake is $20 or something. $20 cake. Fine. You pay $20 and you're going to get the cake, right? No, the baker only hands you a slice. And then over a period of time, he hands you more slices, occasionally charging you for these slices. Eventually, you have the full cake, but it cost you like $120, and you got them in pieces as opposed to the whole thing solid, so the experience was the same. That is a live service game.
Yep.
And also for anyone who's like, oh, but it's free to play, so they have to monetize it in order to make money. No.
They're the ones.
No, they made it free to play or fee to play so that they can monetize it. That's how it works. It's not like they made a free to play game and then go, oh crap, we didn't realize how we're going to monetize this, guys. No, they were like, let's make this a free to play game so that we can nickel and dime the player every 5 seconds for color customization, for armor customization, for freaking nameplates and charms for your weapons and all sorts of bullshit that's on the freaking leaks of the season pass. And I'm willing to believe that it is real. I will put a link in the description after this is done, or in the screw it, I'll do it now actually. Just customize the description. So yeah, it'll be in the description under Halo Infinite. Leaks for the Season 1 Battle Pass. Because this is, like, it's absurd. It's actually absurd.
And madness. This is Sparta.
It is madness. Like, you want to see some of the customization bullshit, by the way, for Halo Infinite? Like, you and I have looked at some of it already.
Oh yes.
We've remember that image where you and I were essentially judging all the helmets.
Yep.
So we got more helmets to judge.
And judge we shall.
Oh, judge we
Guilty
shall.
on all counts.
Okay, there. The description has been updated, so it should have the images of which you all seek. Hopefully this works. Hey, I got the Season 1 Battle Pass thing to work. Cool.
You got the seasonings?
I got the seasoning. Now let's make some
What about the
something.
seasoning?
It's time to bake the cake we made last night. Anyway, so here, this is a freaking helmet. It's a fucking snowman. Because, as I said, they're going for that contemporary, wacky,
it's
nonsensical thing to get all the kids in.
It's a Spartan camouflage snow whatever the fuck. Give us money.
Here's the battle pass, right? The season pass, whatever. So we got free I think it's a rare visor. Like, because there's rarity to now the items in Halo now. Like common, uncommon, like a looter shooter. So we got a visor, and oops. Then we got the Gundam armor coating is paid for. Then we've got number 3 being reroll ×2, which sounds a lot like a loot box or some sort of digital gambling equivalent. And chest armor.
You know,
Free, nothing. Paid XP boost.
Just thought of this.
Free, reroll ×2. A lot of these for free are just going to be reroll, whatever the hell that is. Paid, you're going to get, armor coatings, emblems, more armor coating, knee pads. And I can zoom in here so you guys get a better picture of what armor customization it is. And here you got like Halo Reach armor that's going to be paid for. Like almost all of the armor from Halo Reach that's in the game will be monetized. Get a backdrop for free. Emblem.
One thing though I just thought of.
Charm.
Didn't the European Union go and rule that loot boxes were a form of gambling? And
yeah, but I don't think they've actually enacted anything on it in terms of legal action.
I thought they were talking about doing.
They are in talks. They are in talks.
Okay, because last I remember hearing about it, they were going like, oh, if you have loot boxes, you're gonna get a adult rating, meaning like the very highest, the same.
I think that's what the talks were about. Honestly, I don't know. We have to look it up, and maybe we'll talk about it on Wednesday. But
that would be interesting. It was like, oh, sorry, 343, but it looks like your game.
That's really gonna put a dent in EA's wallet because they have rated E games with all their sports titles that are just
and it's
digital
like, hey,
casinos.
You have to change the rating of the game now in the EU, or you can't sell it.
Okay, so if you want Carter's helmet, remember Commando helmet from Halo Reach? Yeah, you want Carter's helmet in Halo Infinite? You're gonna have to pay for it.
Not especially.
The Noble Team emblem, you're gonna have to pay for it. Poses, they're charging you for poses. They're charging you for color schemes. They're charging you for armor effects. Again, helmets, armor coatings, vehicle
something
attachments.
Well, I mean, I guarantee you they'll have something in like the what you call it, for like vehicles, like, oh hey, you're driving your Warthog around, cool, you want to have some fuzzy dice on that Warthog?
I mean, that is literally one of the things they're selling. Look, they're selling a cat charm. It's like Cat's helmet from Halo Reach is a charm. I think there's for weapons though, but it's like, Yeah, they're literally selling you that sort of arbitrary nonsense.
Not surprised. Disappointed.
No, disappointed, but not surprised. That's the thing. None of this surprises me because we kind of predicted and expected this shit. But that doesn't mean, oh, we knew this was coming, so therefore we're not fine with it. It is not okay. It just makes us further disappointed because we were unfortunately correct about our predictions. We don't like being right about some of this stuff. Imagine.
Imagine, if you will.
It's like some of this stuff is because all the cool stuff is essentially paid for, which doesn't surprise me at all because that's how you get people to pay for stuff is make it cool.
Exactly.
But yeah, all the stuff that you liked from Halo Reach, you're not going to be able to get it for free.
Sorry, get fucked.
Yeah, a little bit. And all these little shops.
Sorry, not sorry, get fucked.
It's again, there and a lot of the wacky stuff that the one of them was like Phoenix Wings or something they called it, where it's like it was an armor effect similar to like Halo Reach, where you had like the stink armor effect and the hearts, or like the flame, like the Ghost Rider head on fire. So they're doing that again, which I think is cool. However, they canonized Halo multiplayer, Halo 4 and Halo 5. Prior to that, no one gave a shit because it was multiplayer. Because yeah. That's another thing too. Like they have that whole Halo Infinite Season 1 cinematic trailer with the new Spartan Commander character. And the trailer would have you believe that it's a freaking like story, like a Spartan Ops type story to the multiplayer, but there isn't any. It's just a load of crap.
It's a load of pumpkins.
Like it makes no sense because like I wouldn't say it's false advertising because it's a cinematic trailer. There's nothing going on there, but it's just. I don't know, that's weird. Halo Infinite, like, again, back to the original topic, which was the new campaign footage. It's not, again, it looks like Destiny meets Doom Eternal, meets Halo 5, meets Battlefield 2040, or just Battlefield in general. Like a lot of visuals, like the glowy purples, right, and the particle effects. For anyone who doesn't know, particle effects are pretty much anything, like any light sources and explosions, muzzle flashes from your gun, your shield effect, like the Spartan shield effect. That's all particle effects, and they all just remind me of Destiny. And that's not necessarily a bad. I'm not trying to slam on Destiny. Destiny's good in its own right. It's good because it's Destiny. Halo being Destiny is not good because it's not being Halo, it's being Destiny. You know what I mean? Halo used to have its own visual identity. And right now it has a visual identity crisis. We're seeing that with Master Chief Collection as well as Halo Infinite. I'm not expecting, again, I haven't been, nor am I still expecting Halo Infinite to be good. I hope it's good, but hope isn't a strategy. I don't expect it to be good. Obviously, we're not getting it probably for a year plus after it launches. Actually, if we do get it at all, we're hoping to raise money through the channel to do it, as opposed to putting our own money.
Anywho, we're pretty much running this in circles.
We're broke. Well, first off, we're broke. Second off, we figured, look, we're gonna be playing. If we ever do play it, we're gonna be playing it for you guys on the channel and giving our thoughts and essentially MST3K'ing the story.
Anyways,
Yeah.
I know we were wanting to cut this one a little short.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, there was a Starfield trailer, but I had it playing when you were talking about it.
Hurry.
It's whatever. Do we want to just quickly kind of critique the Uncharted trailer that they made
Nope.
with Kid Nathan Drake?
I mean, they already killed him. He's a dead man walking.
Is he?
Yeah.
They killed him in the most recent game?
Yeah, they killed him off in 2, like early on, if I remember right. What a shame, what a shame, what a shame.
Yeah, they're
I know
trying to make
a lot of fans were not happy with that.
No, I can't. Gee, imagine why. It's not like they killed the main character that everyone loved.
Details.
No, so the Uncharted movie, real short, it's essentially they're trying to make a franchise out of the Uncharted series, but in the form of films, and they're casting Tom Holland to the displeasure of almost every Uncharted fan as Nathan Drake, because they want a young actor who they can have in a franchise of films, so it can go on for years. Obviously, if they have Nathan Fillion, that's not really going to work. Even though Nathan Fillion would be perfect because he did that fan film where he was perfect in that role.
So anyway, there I was.
Alright, but yeah, we bitched and moaned enough for one day, I think.
No.
We still have to play MCC Season 8 and that as well. But yeah, the freaking Halo Infinite trailer. I mean, again, it looked just weird, right? It was like a multiplayer trailer, but posing as a campaign. And whatever.
First of all, don't ask questions. Second of all, don't fucking.
I mean, I'll watch it again just so I can actually listen with audio, because I listened with the audio very low, and we were talking over it, and I heard some bits and pieces, and the narration. Again, I don't want to blame Jen Taylor for this because she's a good voice actress. I blame the direction because, often is the fault of the direction when you have bad voice acting. Like the narration just seemed very. Honestly, I would rather take the season 4 Young Justice narration over the Jen Taylor narration of the Halo Infinite campaign trailer. Where that, and what I mean by that is for anyone who hasn't seen it, from DC Fandom, they had a season 4 Young Justice trailer, and it had really like cheesy, and I mean like real cheese narration, like in a world where the heroes, but like that type of, like the type of narration that kind of makes you wince in pain just from hearing it. But I'd rather take that because at least you can laugh at that. This was just sad. And again, we at this point, I'm just rooting for the Halo Infinite campaign story to be good.
To not be utter shit.
And not be utter shit like Halo 5. And even Halo 4. I know a lot of people love Halo 4, but
you get nothing.
Again, good idea. This is essentially Halo 4 in its entirety. Good ideas, horrible execution.
Breathe.
With the exception of the art style, that was just a horrible idea. It shouldn't have been built. Also, the excuse of introducing gray goo into the Halo universe by having nanomachines fix Halo Master Chief's armor. That's why it looks different. They were better off just saying we retconned the design. It always looked like that. Versus, we changed how it looked with nanomachine. For anyone who doesn't know what gray goo is, look it up. It's not. That is something you have to think carefully about before introducing it into your fiction, whatever it is.
I may not have dropped a vial of gray goo on the earth. Hope you weren't too attached to it.
For anyone who's watched Justice League Unlimited, the episode Dark Heart, that has gray goo in it. Dark Heart was
Why'd that be gray? You're
gray
so
goo.
racist.
Gray, and it's goo, and it eats. including people, especially people. Yeah, that's. Any closing thoughts on Halo Infinite being?
I try not to think, it hurts too much.
Yeah, probably saves time. Yeah. Again, just sucks.
You know what else sucks?
Vacuums.
Damn Skippy.
Yeah, but that's gonna be all. We're totally gonna be doing more Halo stuff, unfortunately, in the future, probably, as they release more crap leading up to Halo Infinite's launch. Again, we're just gonna be our normal judgmental pricks selves, and
Woohoo!
look, we only judge it because we care. If we didn't care about Halo Infinite, we wouldn't be talking about it at all. Or care about Halo as a franchise, I should say. Because at the moment, I'm starting to care less and less and less about Halo Infinite. And I didn't care about it much to begin with. I do still care about Halo, because Halo has an interesting story, and I don't want it to go away.
How dare
We've lost enough franchises over the course of the last 10 years. Mostly just the bad writing and among political bullshit, but like Halo Infinite just seems to be greed that we're losing. You know, like every other AAA gaming franchise. Freaking terrific. Yeah,
Watch
that's
your fucking language, thank you.
Yeah, that's gonna be it. Anything? Nothing? Alright, we're done.
Breaky, suka, bleep.
Hmm. Honestly, the only good thing I can think of about Halo Infinite right now is Master Chief looks bitchin'.
I said, don't care how he looks.
But again, yeah, again, that's the only good thing I can think about right now about Halo Infinite is, yeah, the Master Chief looks great. Nothing else does. You know, the story doesn't look good. To be fair, they do have to follow up Halo 5 stories, so they already kind of crapped their pants. Now they have to find a new pair to change. Or I guess they already changed into a new pair, but they still... I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that analogy. It was a bad analogy, but my point is that they were in a bad situation that they put themselves in, but it was still a bad situation.
It's their own damn fucking fault.
Yeah, it is. It's their fault they were in that situation because they wrote that bad story, and now they have to try to claw their way out of that corner, that writing corner that they put themselves in. By the way, I still hold to my theory that I made years ago that 343 would be better off making their own new IP as opposed to doing Halo.
What would they be better off in terms of a company? Absolutely.
I just think like whatever they come up with, you know, like okay, they make a brand new IP and use whatever art style they want. They have full, because again, it's their new IP. They created it. They have full creative control over it. You know, or creative freedom, I should say.
Would that be better off from a gameplay standpoint? Absolutely.
I think it'd be better off in every regard. It'd be better off than what they're doing to Halo right now.
Well, no, from our perspective, absolutely. From their perspective,
oh right, because they're not going to have that. They're not going to have the brand recognition to market off of. It's kind of like what Ubisoft is doing.
Now, what they should do, if they were like, oh hey, let's actually do our own fucking thing here, because you know, hey, we're obviously running fucking Halo into the ground. But that being said, if they were to do that, they could very easily go and be like, oh hey, we could go and make it so when we promote the game, similar to how Obsidian did, hey, from the from the developers of,
right.
But
by the way, the Outer Worlds, I still need to finish that game. I am excited for the Outer Worlds 2 because I'm hoping that now that they have a bigger budget and they learned lessons from the first game, that it'll be better.
I don't know, man.
But
I'm,
I said I'm
do
hoping. I'm
hope
not.
that's the case, but
I
like
have
I
hope because
said,
it's Obsidian and
every other
they haven't made a really bad game yet. So
yet, and this is their
operative
first
word
chance
being
to
yet.
do
Yes.
so. Like I said, I'm getting fucking cynical here, but
Oh, you and me both. I mean, can you blame
maybe
us?
it's
Like,
just
can
part of
anyone
growing
blame us?
old. I don't
We're
know.
look at all the shit we're seeing in the gaming industry. Like there's literally like you can't trust any studio, even if they've done some good things like 2 years ago. They're probably you can't trust them. You gotta
Yeah. Well, I was
ever
of the
vigilant,
opinion-
right?
Yeah. Well, I was of the opinion way back when that some companies, namely Bethesda, oh, they wouldn't go and pull this kind of shit, would
Yeah.
they? And then for me, what really broke that naivete was Fallout 4. And seeing the utter garbage pile, in my opinion, but the utter garbage pile that Fallout 4 was. And just going, really? This was your finished product? Like, and in many ways, it still feels like there's entire parts of the game that are missing that should be here, and like there's only an empty hole left of what would have been. Anyway,
Yeah. Again, we know we're thinking too because we've seen them thinking. God damn it! Now you have me quoting.
I'm
the
actually
freaking-
working on my Fallout 4 install right now, getting all
Yeah.
my hundreds of mods to hopefully work together. I'm making progress though,
Nice.
slowly but steadily.
Yeah, we're totally boned out Halo
Oh, fuck yeah.
and Starfield. I'm sure.
I mean, I'll give them this. I give them about a 30% chance that they manage to salvage Starfield from the bullshit hole that ZeniMax is running them into. I still give them a 70% chance that they're gonna still run full tilt into it, but given that they do have at least on the face of it that because they announced what earlier this year at E3 I think it was that they're releasing next year, so it gave them about a year and a half to 2 years, somewhere around there.
Oh, I can check when the release date is. Excuse me. November.
It's like 11.
Yeah,
it's like
November next year.
11 or something.
November 11th, 2022.
Yeah, and they could, if Microsoft so deemed, they could go and delay the game as well, potentially.
I just hope that Bethesda starts making some quality products again now that they're under Microsoft.
Whoa, you want what now?
But again, that is a very, very large hope, and I doubt any of it will actually come to reality.
And I mean, just for me especially, like I have, and I will say, part of it is absolutely my rose-tinted glasses here, but I have such fond memories of spending hours and hours and hours playing both Oblivion, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, which yes, I know that was Obsidian, but still, of playing those games and Skyrim as well. Just wandering around, exploring the world. I remember playing Oblivion and just going, man, there's so much content here. I'm never possibly going to finish it, and being giddy over this because it meant I would always have something new to see and explore and do. And I would love nothing more than to be able to jump back into these well-developed, well-made, detailed worlds with good narration and story in them, and you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Just it seems Bethesda is no longer able to put out that kind of content. So it would seem.
We were gonna wrap this up, weren't we?
No.
Ah,
Yes,
okay.
maybe.
Help! I'm being held prisoner by Cam. This live stream will go for 3 more hours.
Run as fast as you can. You can't escape me.
I mean, I say that jokingly, but we've gone on for like 7 hours. Though mostly when we were playing a game. Which reminds me, we should probably play some Halo on today, because we said we were going to do that last week. Because I was at a job interview. Still waiting to get back from them tomorrow morning.
Anywho, that's it. Wrapped up.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed and found our rants entertaining, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, so Star Citizen, you know, Alpha 3.15 PTU is now open to Wave 2, so that pretty much means anyone that's actively reporting bugs on the issue council or just plays a lot is now going to have access, like yours truly, so I might actually record some footage now. And Halo Infinite has a campaign trailer that just screams of every other game except Halo. Because 343 is running true to form and just copying other people's works. Or, okay, not accurate, but taking inspiration from other people's works and not doing anything for themselves. Okay, I probably could word that better. Just whatever. They're doing more of the same as they did with Halo 4 and 5. Yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up. What do you guys think of the Halo Infinite campaign trailer thing?
I try not to.
What?
I try not to.
Well, what do the proverbial viewers watching think?
Wait, there are people?
I don't know. Are there people? I'm legitimately checking if there are people. There are no people. But maybe there are people watching after this is live, so they can skip ahead and stuff. Let us know what you guys thought in the comment section about all the Halo Infinite stuff. You know, do you think the game's gonna be good? Do you think the game's not gonna be good? Do you care about the game? Do you care about the multiplayer campaign? Whatever. Like, unadulterated comments. Say whatever you want. Okay, except to keep it clean, but
Nope, too late.
you know, say whatever you want regarding like the game and your opinions and stuff. No one like we clearly don't care whether if you like it, that's great. If you are of the same mind as we are, that's also great. You know, and that whatever.
Disagree? Well, fucking what?
Freedom of expression and all that.
My lawyers are saying.
We do have one thing that I should probably mention. As soon as I can. We have a new T-shirt on the merch store. I can't necessarily say I'm impressed. Actually, Cam, you'll like this.
What? Bold words for someone within typing range.
Close. Why does this take for? Like once it's loaded, it's fine. But just green up, all white, and bright. Enjoy Cam's music gold talent. Say that without asking it. This is really taking a while.
And thus my career as a mumble rapper takes off. What are you looking up anyway?
I'm trying to get our merch store to load. Not loading.
We have a merch store?
Yeah, that's where our what the frick facts Nick's neck patty whack give a dog a bone kind of bullshit is this t-shirt. Sold.
People actually buy this shit?
I mean, I think someone bought one of our stuff recently. Because we made like $3, so
We've successfully monetized our spleens.
ooh, I should put that on a t-shirt. Spleen.
No, it's just
It's just a
we
picture
have
of a spleen.
successfully monetized our spleens.
We joke, but I'm writing that down.
Just put a Star Citizen medical gun like over like a pair of crossed medical guns or some shit. I don't know. Why do I have to have all the ideas?
Oh no, why isn't this loading? This is really driving me nuts.
Have we tried loading it in Edge instead of Chrome?
I know, I have to turn it off and then on again, right?
That too. Are we there yet? Bounce, 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 bounce.
So this is not loading.
Rest in peace.
I wonder if it's just.
Do you wonder as you wander?
I'm going to check on a different browser and see if it loads. Because Teespring may just be down right now. This
Could be.
a completely real Oh no, it's loading here.
Lies.
Alright, well look, the link in the description should work because it just loaded for me. But it's not working on Chrome, so I recommend using Firefox or something. Yeah, definitely don't use Chrome. Let me just pull up. I'm just going to take a screenshot of the shirt. Because it is a t-shirt. Well, there's one t-shirt and then there's one that's not a t-shirt. And it is very important that I make that distinction.
Anywho. Are we there yet?
No. We need like a technical difficulty screen where it's like, white static and everything.
Quick, throw up the Fallout 3 loading icon.
Oh god. Yeah, I sent you a picture of it so that you can see it too.
It's the end of the world.
But this is the t-shirt. It's on screen. This literally just loaded up for me on Firefox. So.
Yeah.
Not the t-shirt you're looking for. The other one, I actually like this one a little better. But I made both of these today. But here, the other one is not a t-shirt, but it is a sweatshirt. And you can tell because it straight up says it is not a t-shirt.
I wasn't aware shirts could sweat.
So yeah, this is what happens when I get challenged to make really bad stuff.
Go on.
I blame Jack Lumen for this because he gave me the idea for making a product that literally says this is not a t-shirt. Like That's a quote from him that
I'd be on
that
camera.
gave me the instant idea for this. So yeah. Also, we have a there's another merchandise that I can't. I shouldn't be showing on the screen, but it's in the Discord server. If anyone's in the Discord server, link for that's also in the description. But essentially, it's a Transformers themed
Person
T-shirt.
who both watches this and is in our Discord.
Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, that's gonna be it for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. We're going to leave because we cannot do outros, it seems.